Hey, what's up? Good morning, family. We're live on Facebook and we're live on YouTube this morning. And I want to get the show started rather quickly. I'm going live a little bit earlier, probably for the next week or so, because I'm just noticing some differences in the audience. And I'm wondering if going back to school and or people's changes in their work patterns are affecting their viewership. So we started this show at 7 a.m. and as I said before, I have no problem with going back to a 7 a.m. time frame, but I want to get started early. Also because I want to end early. So we'll rock for about 2 hours today, 7:30 to 9:30 a.m. this morning. Please take a second and like, and in particular, share today's show. We get more viewership on this show when you share it. It means everything. On today's show, I want to talk about and give you my reaction to the Cincy Trump parade that's scheduled for tomorrow, aka 84 miles of dumb-ish. That's what I'm calling it. We'll discuss that. Also, Cincinnati City Council banned plastic bags. I'll tell you why I think it's necessary. It's a damn shame, but I think it's necessary. Plus, we'll talk about some of the controversy, the latest controversy surrounding Netflix. They've been promoting a new show that is starred by young girls, and there's been getting some strong reactions from the way that they're promoting it. So we'll talk about all of that, family. But I want to give you at least 1 minute to like and in particular share today's show, and then we'll get started. Yes, good morning with you. I am here. I am here. You may not hear music, but I am here with you this morning. I'll put my screen up in just a second. I'll put the cam up in just a second. I just want to give you a second to like and share today's show. As I said, today I want to react to the news of the Cincy Trump parade. Some Trump supporters have now decided to do a big parade for Donald Trump that's going to be on the I-275 loop spanning about 84 miles. I call it 84 miles of dumb-ish. This man just admitted that he lied about the severity of a pandemic. But yeah, you got supporters of his that still want to celebrate him and promote him to become the next president or to be remain president in November. I want to talk about it. Plus, I want to give you the most concrete way to deal with this. I've heard that some people are going to find different spots around the I-275 loop and try to stage counter protests or shout them down. I mean, do what you want to do, but I think I've got the most concrete way to deal with the Trumpsters, and we'll talk about it in just a second. All right, good morning, folks. Again, Nathan Ivey with you. Let's get things started. I don't want to wait any longer. Good morning. Welcome to the show. Let's pull the cam up, shall we? Good morning to you. Let's get things started. Hey, here it is. What's up? What's up? Welcome back. Welcome back. Nathan Ivey with you. Welcome to my home. This is my home studio. This is actually my home. That's not a stage bookshelf. That's a real bookshelf. This is what I do. Hey, welcome to the show. Many things to discuss this morning. If you want to share your thoughts, we will open up the phone lines at 513-873-7134. I want to talk about numerous things, not the least of which is the fact that Trump and his Cincinnati supporters, his Ohio supporters, are having a big rally. And first, let me say, you know what? If you a Trumpster and you believe that Trump is making you money and making America great again, then do your due diligence. By all means, go ahead and do you. You know what I'm saying? Do you 100%. But it's amazing to me how people can be energized to vote against their very own interest. You know what I'm saying? Some of these folks, man, they pick up trucks. They're going to be staging a rally all around the I-275 loop, which I understand is about 84 miles. That's why I'm calling this 84 miles a dumb-ish. Because I think it's dumb when people are convinced to vote against their best interest. Some of these same folks are going to be hurt if Trump is successful in taking away their health care plan. Some of these same folks are starving and hurting right now. They have not made any positive advances during the last 4 years. But I'm going to tell you how people can be convinced to vote and to get active against their own best interests. We'll talk about that this morning. It's hilarious. Also, if you're not a Trumpster and you're thinking about maybe staging your own, one man, or if you get a group of folks together to stage your counter protest, do you. But I think that I have the absolute best way on how to deal with Trump and how to deal with the Trumpsters. And I'm not telling you that it's the most I never could have thought of that, Nate. I'm not saying it's one of those kind of ideas, but it might be something that people might be overreacting to. Overlooking. You know what I'm saying? No need to overreact this tomorrow. No need to overreact. I've got a better solution. A better solution. Have you seen this? Oh my God, they are coming out for Trump. They love Trump. They love them some Trump. Let me see here. I got a screenshot I want to put up on here if you haven't seen it already. And I did reach out. I would have loved to get somebody on the show who's one of the organizers of this rally. And in particular, you see this? Yeah, that's tomorrow. That's tomorrow, 10 to noon, I-275 loop. And I went to their Facebook page, and they serious, family. They is turning out. And they've got 12 different areas. They totally plan to cover the I-275 loop in their Cincy Trump parade. Now, why in the hell would I be a part of a parade promoting a man that just admitted that he lied to me? Why in the hell would I support a politician, a president, that lied to the American people during a pandemic? We don't have to talk about nothing else. We can just stop right there. A pandemic that cost tens of thousands of lives. And while it's hard to calculate, how much, Trump was involved with this and how many lives he cost, the man just admitted it. Shout out to the White House press corps. I've got the audio for you. I'll play it for you in just a second. He got called out. He got called out on his lies recently. Hey, why'd you lie to people? I was doing it for you. Yeah, you was doing it for me. You ever have somebody lie to you about something they did, and then they come to you and say, well, I was doing it for you. Yeah, sure you were. Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Doing it for me. Next time, don't do it for me. Trump got called out on his lies, man, and it was hilarious. And then he walked away from the podium like the coward that he really is. He's a coward. He's a coward. Straight up. Got caught out on his lies, then he wants to run away from it. And whenever you hear Trump say to a reporter or he's having an interview and they ask him, you hear Trump say something like, well, that was a horrible question. That means it was a great question. That means it was a great question, 100%. 100%. Why are you asking me this question? The way that you phrase that question is disgusting, he said. You hear it in a second. No, Mr. President, it's not. It's 100% spot on. You lying mofo. Like people say that all politicians lie. I don't know if that's true or not. I think it might be safer to say that all politicians may reserve the truth until it's convenient to them. But Obama didn't lie the way Trump did. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop. Obama didn't lie the way Trump did or does. Obama didn't lie about the Ebola virus. Obama didn't lie about working with a foreign, really an adversarial government, that would be the Russians, to try to get elected. Stop with all of that, man. That's that Russian propaganda. All politicians lie. No, they don't. Trump's on a whole nother level. Trump has been lying his whole damn life. This is who he is, straight up. And you think I'm going to spend my Saturday from 10 to 12 rolling around I-275 for a damn liar? It would never happen. Please share this, people. Please share this. Please share this so everybody can hear these flows. We need some sobering in these crazy days and times where common sense is so uncommon. The gospel of the flow must be heard by as many people as possible. Y'all need to wake up. What do I look like? The man just admitted that he lied to the American people and played it down and will continue to play it down because it fits his own best interest. Not the interest of the American people, which is really never about that, but his own personal interest. Why do you support that? Why do you support that? I'll tell you why. Fear-mongering, right? For many Trump supporters, it ain't even really about policy. They ain't looking for equity policy intangibles. They don't care if Trump takes away their health care. They don't care. They don't care if he unbalances the tax books to favor the very, very wealthy. You don't care. They don't care if he, works with foreign powers. They don't care if he disrespects the military. We ain't even talked about that. Some of these same folks that's going to be driving around 84 miles a dumb-ish tomorrow on the I-275 loop are probably proud military men and women and proud military families. Now, how can you be a proud military family and you support a man that talks down about the military? And before you say, oh, that's just election year lies, he did it to John McCain. He talked down about John McCain. If he would do that in public, what the hell do you think he's saying in private? The man dodged the Vietnam War and then turns around and criticizes the people that went to the war and put their lives on the line. Now, no matter what you think about the Vietnam War, Muhammad Ali was 100% right, by the way. Rewrite the history books. America got on Muhammad Ali's back when he said, they ain't never called me the N-word. There ain't no problem. He was right about that. But you still got to respect the people that made that sacrifice and did what they had to do. They got through it in some cases. In some cases, they did not. This is who the president is, period. And you think I'm about to give up my Saturday, a sacred Saturday from 10 to 12? That's prime real estate on a Saturday. I don't do a whole lot. Really, 10 to 12, that's my time. That's family and my time on Saturdays. I'm going to get that up for a lying ass degenerate. I'm going to tell you why. And I'm also going to tell you what you can do if you're on the opposite side of that. Because a lot of people might be like, you know what? I'm going to jump in my truck and I'm going to honk my horn, beep, 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 thumbs down for Trump. You ain't got to do all of that. Don't even waste your time, family, because that's what they want. Let them have their little 84 miles of dumb-ish parade tomorrow. Nobody shows up. Don't give them no attention whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? We should treat this the same way you would deal with a child that's acting out for attention. If you got a child that's acting out for attention, what do? Do you give them more attention? You ignore their ass. And that's what we should do with these Trumpsters tomorrow. Let them have their little moment. Even though Trump is not crafting policy that means a damn thing to you. Oh, sure, he says he's pro-life. He says he's pro-life. He tries to pass himself off like he's some evangelical leader, which I don't even know what that means nowadays. Because every time I see these so-called Christian pastors in the news, they doing some sex-ish. They doing some sex-ish. They run around here with their pants down, their penis out. They run around here with girlfriends and boyfriends talking about, I'm weak. I'm human. I need Jesus too. Yeah, you sure do. I don't even know what that means anymore. But see, that's how he gets people. He's pro-life. He's against abortion. But on everything else, he's an absolute wretched human being. But because he's pro-life, because he's putting conservative judges, right? Because he's a strict constructionist of the Constitution, that's supposed to mean something? I mean, I would ask these Trumpsters, what has Trump done for you lately? Other than make you feel good because he talks ish in the media. That's what it's all about. You know what I'm saying? Trump has these people in their hands. You know what I'm saying? Ha ha ha. He can do no wrong. I say nobody shows up. Don't try to shout them down. If you want to show up in November. If you really are like anti-Trump and his policies, show up in November. That's where you show up. This ish tomorrow, nothing. Means absolutely nothing. Let them do their 84 miles of dumb ish. Let them drive in circles for 2 hours. Nobody shows up. No clash. Why? No need to confront this nonsense. Let them do what they do. You enjoy your Saturday, because 2 hours on a Saturday is prime real estate for me. I'm sorry. I got better things to do. It takes a lot to get me out of bed and go do something on a Saturday. I ain't got time for it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, do what you want to do. These are just flows. These are just flows. All right. Also, I want to talk about City Council. We'll circle back around. I want to set the table here. I want to talk about Cincinnati City Council because they did something yesterday that I actually agree with. And I was talking with a caller yesterday, and the caller was talking about he was talking about the text message scandal, right? Textgate. And I told him that the same thing I said when it was hot in the news, that it was pretty much politically motivated dumb-ish. That really didn't matter. It had no real substance to the lives of Cincinnatians. You know what I'm saying? To the Democrats and Republicans, yeah, it meant everything. But to us, it was just a waste of time and money. And I told this caller yesterday that the Cincinnati, vote on plastic bags. So now I'll give you the details on it here in a second. But now plastic bags have been banned. The sale of them has been banned in Cincinnati. Again, I'll give you more details in just a second. And as I told him, that has more impact than the so-called text messaging scandal. Way more impact. And you know what? It's a damn shame that Cincinnati City Council even has to address this, but I'll tell you why they have to. And I'll tell you why I think it was important. So it needs to be said that there's like 300 cities across the country that have done similar things. Just yesterday, Cincinnati City Council voted to ban single-use plastic bags for many businesses in the city of Cincinnati. That'll be effective January 2021, if we get to 2021. The new ordinance passed with a vote of 7-1. Guess who if you haven't read the article, guess what city council member do you think was the only person to vote against it? Who do you think voted against it? The only city council person to vote against it. I'll wait for a second. I'll tell you. Betsy Sunderman. White female Republican. Why is Betsy Sunderman on city council? What is she doing? I reached out to her on Facebook. I'll make a stronger effort. Let me see here. I have yet to get a response. I would love to talk to Betsy Sunderman. And when I talk to her, I'm going to hold her accountable for that op-ed piece that she wrote in the Cincinnati Inquirer, in which she was trying to make herself look good, make herself look like a law and order city council person, off the backs of the deaths and the violence and the murders in Cincinnati. She needs to be called out, and nobody else in the city is going to do it. So it's got to be your boy, Nate Ivey. But what is she on city council to do? Why do we elect these people to get on city council to do nothing? What is she doing? Maybe she's got some things. I think I read something where she was teaming up with Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. I remember there was an article maybe about 3 weeks ago. Betsy Sunderman is such good friends with Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. I don't give a damn about who she's friends with. So what? What are you doing? Just like I don't give a damn about Jeff Pastor's tattoos on his damn chest, working out, working on his pecs. Get down there and get some policy. We don't care. They're such good friends. They text each other in the car. I read this article like, who's writing this trash? What is wrong with journalism in this city? These trash ass articles. She's such good friends with a black female. Who cares? Anyway, when it goes into effect, restaurants and food service establishments will be prohibited from bagging customers' items in single-use plastic bags. Now, that stands out to me at the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? I know over the Kroger store, that's especially in the self-checkout line, that's number one. Now, why is this important? It's important because we have to think globally and act locally. Say it with me, y'all. We have to think globally and act locally. We have to think globally and act locally. Globally, these plastic bags are a global environmental nightmare. It's an environmental nightmare. Oh, I'm getting text messages here. Oh, no. I'll respond after the show. We have to think globally and act locally. Globally, these are an environmental nightmare. And, you know, it really pains me that we're not really focused on the environment. It's like a damn sci-fi movie where the humans wait until the last possible second to start thinking about the earth. Like right before God or fate or the universe is about to wipe us off the face of it, everybody want to be environmentalists then. Why do we do that as human beings? Why do we as human beings wait until the last damn minute to start caring about the environment? We want to wait until the water runs out before we think, you know what? The water's about to run out. Why do we do that? The most precious resource that we have, black, white, Republican, not Republican, independent, Green Party, black conscious people, black Republican people. It don't matter who you are, young people, Generation Z, X, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. It don't really matter. The most precious resource we have, we standing on it. It's the earth. And unfortunately, humans are lazy and incorrigible. That's right. Some of y'all relatives, not you, of course, but some of y'all relatives are lazy as and incorrigible. Here's what I mean. I live in this city and I see this plastic trash everywhere. I see people dumping ish out their cars. They dump ish on my street. Plastic straws, plastic bags, wrappers for Doritos, wrappers from your favorite fill in the blank restaurant or fast food service. Lazy, filthy, incorrigible humans. Y'all know some of y'all relatives, not you, of course, but some of y'all relatives. Lazy as a throw ish anywhere. Incorrigible. All kind of signs that say don't do this, don't do that. They do it anyway. Unfortunately, sometimes humans have to be forced to do the right thing. I wish it wasn't that way. Like in a perfect world, and it'd be a great reflection on us if City Council and the other 300 plus cities in this nation didn't have to do this. But because too many humans are nasty, filthy, lazy, and incorrigible, they got to do it. It's actually a damn shame. It's actually negative commentary on us as human beings, as citizens, that they got to do something like this. Because some of y'all relatives, not you, lazy ass relatives, is going to take those plastic bags and throw them straight on the street. Put them straight on the street. They'll be everywhere. You know it. I see people on my street. I pick up trash once a week out of my yard. People pull up and literally they eating they fast food, and these nasty ass humans will throw it straight out of their car, straight into my yard, and I got to go pick it up. I'm pissed. Pissed about it every week. It's some trash in my yard right now that I got to go pick up because these lazy ass humans are too lazy to take their plastic wrappers and their trash, put it in a bag, walk into their own home. They'd rather throw it into somebody else's yard and walk away. I guess that's cool now. I guess that's the Travis Scott way. You know what I'm saying? Travis Scott got a deal with McDonald's, right? What is it, a quarter pounder with cheese and with some bacon, probably some of the worst pork in America that you could ever eat, but it's the Travis Scott meal, right? That Travis Scott meal is going to end up in your yard. What's going to end up? Not the food itself, because these lazy, filthy, incorrigible humans are going to take it, eat it, and throw it straight on the streets. I see it all the time. I see it all the time. And that's the reason why City Council and these legislative bodies around the country are forced to deal with this, because y'all relatives are lazy, filthy, and incorrigible. It is what it is. I see it every day. You see it every day. I mean, I literally have been in the middle of traffic. I'm like, damn, keep going. They throw the trash out and just keep on going. Everything everywhere. Cups, sporks. There's sporks in the street. That's why it's necessary. You know what I'm saying? If your relatives were raised better, then maybe City Council would have to deal with this. If we as humans were more disciplined, right, then maybe we wouldn't have to do this, but we're not. So in an effort to try to clean things up for our environment, for the future generations, unfortunately, legislative bodies like City Council have to deal with these kind of things. They really shouldn't even have to. I don't have a problem with it. So the way it works now is, and there are some exceptions, I'll give you more of the details, and not just so much in my commentary, but you know, basically, you're going to have to do, and again, when I say lazy, like, for instance, we do it. The wifey does it. Every time she goes grocery shop, you know what she do? She has reusable plastic bags that she uses, helping to save the environment. It just takes a little bit of effort. But some of y'all relatives is so damn lazy, they don't even want to do that. Lazy as hell. You can't even keep a plastic bag and then bring it with you to the store. But you got that phone in your hand. Girl, I'm going to get, where the ketchup? Where the ketchup? I don't get it. I'm telling you, man. I don't even know if we're living in the last days biblically. But the last days biblically were preceded by the last days of common sense. Forthcoming title of my book, by the way. We are living in the last days of common sense. We are living in the it makes no sense for council to have to do this. But y'all relatives are lazy and a mofo. They too lazy to get a bag, remember where it is, put it in the car, walk it into the store, put your groceries in it, take it back home, take it to the car, take the groceries out, keep the bag. Everybody got a 30-second time frame or attention span. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. We can't think ahead to keep a plastic bag in a car for the environment. And some of these same lazy, filthy, incorrigible humans, not you, my illustrious audience, but your relatives and your friends, not you. You know what I'm saying? Some of these same lazy individuals will be the same ones talking about, I'm thirsty. Where's the water when the water runs out? I'm thirsty. Oh, Lord, save us when the apocalypse happened, probably brought on by mankind. Let's call it what it is. I know what the Bible says, but in my observations, if there ever is going to be an apocalypse, we're going to create it. We're going to cause it. We're going to F up the earth. Watch, I guarantee you, I probably won't be around to see it, but human beings are going to F up this paradise that God gave us on some lazy, filthy, incorrigible type ish, on some Gilligan ish. Run around here not thinking about the smallest things that only take a little bit of attention. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong. Please share the gospel this morning. Please share the gospel this morning. Please share the gospel this morning. Please share this so your friends, your lazy ass incorrigible friends, not you, can see this. Maybe I can wake them up. I'm thirsty. Where's the water? They're going to be the same ones out here going to be problems when the resources start running out. When the environmental disasters start happening. When the climate makes a major shift, right? Which will probably affect where black people live at first. Think about Hurricane Katrina. I'm just saying, if you want to be on some black conscious kind of stuff. Where are we at on this? So all the belly aching about, this is dumb, and city council shouldn't have to do that. You're right. They shouldn't. But we as human beings are too damn lazy, self-interested, filthy, and incorrigible. Many of your relatives and friends, not you. Not me, of course. No. I mean, I'm just telling you, how easy is it? How difficult is it to keep a reusable plastic bag? It ain't that hard, B. Just like it's not that hard to wear a freaking mask. These are all the same kind of people. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to have a recyclable plastic bag. I'm an American. Excuse me? You a what? What'd you say? I don't get it. Help me understand this. So I don't want to hear no belly aching about this. Now I got to use a plastic bag and wear a freaking mask. This ain't my granddaddy's America. You're right, it's not. Thank God. Thank God. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, the door is wide open. 513-873-7134. You got some of those. I don't have a plastic straw problem. Just so selfish. I mean, God's little selfish ass creature. God's little selfish creatures. If it's not in your backyard, you don't care about it. Until it comes to your backyard, then it's the most important thing ever. Come on, y'all. We got to do better than that. We got to think ahead. We have to do what we can in Cincinnati, Ohio to help preserve the world, right? And if that means using recyclable plastic bags, that's a small measure. See, now I know why the vast majority of the population is obese. Now I get it. The attention span is this big. The discipline is this big. You know, we lost it all. We can't even wear. You got people out there that can't even. Man, I can go on and on for days. I put all these people in the same boat. These people whining about wearing a mask. What about my rights? The people that will be whining about having to bring a reusable plastic bag for your own groceries. They're your groceries. Bag them up. You're going to eat them. Bag them up. Real simple. Lazy ass Americans. That's all it is. Whine, whine, whine. Whine, whine, whine. These lazy ass dog owners that want to take their dogs to other people's yards. The dog does what they do. You just walk away. Lazy, filthy, incorrigible. God's selfish little creature. So that's the reason why city council and these other legislative bodies have to do these kind of things. Because God's little selfish creature only cares about God's little selfish creature. We got too many people running around this city that only care about themselves. That's the problem. They only care about themselves. Like I said, I don't even know who it is. I walk out to my yard. I look over. I see Wendy's bags. I don't eat Wendy's. I walk out to my yard. I see Starbucks cups. I don't drink Starbucks. I walk out to my yard. I see Travis Scott McDonald, meal wrappers. I don't eat at McDonald's. Why is this shit in my yard? Because of God's selfish little creatures. You want to eat your fast food. You're trashing it makes sense. You're trashing your body. So why would you care about trashing somebody else's yard? It kind of makes sense, right? I mean, you're putting trash in your body. So why would you care about putting trash in somebody else's yard? Actually, I kind of figured it out. It kind of makes sense. Oh my God. We are not going to make it all together, y'all. We ain't all going to make it. We're not all going to make it. Some of y'all are not going to make it. Please like and share this gospel this morning, because I'm the only one in the city is going to give it to you this way. Please share the gospel. Okay? And I don't want to hear no damn whining about no plastic bags. Why they should be worried about the big stuff. They are. And this is big. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this is far more important than the text message scandal. It ain't even close. Far more impactful to everyone who lives in the Cincinnati area. It ain't even close. You know what I'm saying? It ain't even close. It ain't even close, but what do you think this morning? We're on Facebook and we are on YouTube this morning. If you're a YouTube person, go to YouTube and give me a subscribe. Hit me with a sub and hit the notification bell as well. It means everything. I'm trying to hit that first milestone, which is 1,000 subs. And with your help, I know I can get there. So I appreciate you. I want to spread the gospel all over the world via YouTube. Good morning to you. Let me start at the beginning. Tracy's on Facebook. She writes, hi. Hey, good morning. There's Tracy. There's Tracy right there. Hey, Tracy. Ray writes, grand risings. All hey, grand risings to you as well. KR Mitchell writes, good morning. Good morning to you. Anthony writes, morning, chop, shop. Hey, good morning. Jocelyn writes, ignore them. Correctamundo, Jocelyn. Ignore them. You know, do what you do. I can't stop you, but I would love to see that the 84 miles of dumb-ish, a.k.a. the Cincy Trump parade, around I-275 loop, goes off without a hitch, no confrontations. Don't give these people no press for what? Let them do their parade for their leader. 84 miles of zombies. These are Trump zombies. I know I'm throwing a lot of words out here and calling names, but it's radio. It's what we do. It's how I feel, honestly. I mean, you tell me, and again, there's some people out there that are all pro-life. So Trump put pro-life judges. He cares about life. Yeah, but he's complete degenerate in his personal life. His wife don't even rock with him. I mean, Trump's wife don't even jock him as much as some of these people do. Think about that. That says everything. His wife don't even rock with him like that. Melania, remember when he first became the president and she wouldn't hold his hand walking up the stairs, which I thought she should have held his hand. You're the first lady. You got a job to do, Melania. But some of these people who not even connected with Trump, whatever, y'all jocking him more than his wife is. Y'all sit in his lap more than his wife does. I don't get it. I don't get it, but I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. If you want to deal with the 84 miles of dumbish, aka the Cincy Trump Rally, then I'm on the air right now and I don't have any plans to take any breaks. Can somebody please share this to one of those Facebook pages with the Trump Rally Facebook page? I want to hear all the Trumpers that hear this flow. I want to hear all of this. Maybe I might wake up one or two of them this morning. Maybe. Probably not. You're right. Probably not. If you want to deal with the Trumpsters and the 84 miles of dumbass, you do it in November. That's where you do it. That's where our rally should be. We should rally in November. All of this is nothing. This is just like Trumpster. Whoever organized this is doing it for the glory of saying they organized this. That's it. They're trying to rally. I'm telling you, man, listen, I went to the RNC a few years ago, right? Like 4 years ago. I got on some of the RNC mailing lists, right? I'm still on their mailing list, which is sometimes interesting and gives me some insights into the minds of the Trumpsters. They are 100% ringing the alarm. They are ringing the alarm for Trump. They doing, I mean, Eric, the whole family, the whole squad, nonstop email campaigns. I'm thinking about blocking their ass because it's just overloading my Gmail with that dumb-ish. You know what I'm saying? Nathan, limited time, 700% match. So if I donated $100, they're going to put another what? $700 to match it in my name as a donation to Trump. They are super serious, man. They're desperate. They desperate. Anthony writes, morning, chop shop. Ashley writes, good 3. I'm not sure what that means. Good morning to you. She writes, good morning, Nathan and the Chopper. It's Friday. Yes, it is. Beautiful Friday. Deshauna's on YouTube along with Ashley. She writes, good morning, Nathan and all. Glad you started early. Plus also need you all grit money. Also, why ban plastic bags when they are good for picking up your dog poop while walking them? Well, 2 things. Yeah, they are. I don't have an animal. I don't have any animals. I tell my wife right now, I'm not an animal person. The only animals that can live with me are the animals that have an income. You know, if I got a dog, if you see me walk around with a dog, that dog has an income. There's no doubt about it. It's like a Hollywood dog. The dog is doing commercials. the dog is talking to me and like giving me lottery numbers or something like that. I'm not an animal person like that. It's just too much work. God bless y'all. You know what I'm saying? I love the animals. I want to make sure the animals are happy and safe and all the other kind of stuff. Just not in my house. Cats, dogs. I've done all of that. I grew up with dogs in my grandfather's house. They love dogs. But my grandfather had land. You know what I'm saying? He had a huge backyard. It was a huge, land parcel of land right next to our house. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like some of these people living in apartments. If you live in an apartment and you have an animal, then you really don't care about your animal. That's just me. That's a side issue. I ain't trying to, whatever. You do you. You're right about that. Even though I still think that's nasty. Let me get this straight. I'm going to walk around and pick up dog feces. There's nothing about that makes sense to me. These hands are for other things. It ain't for picking up no canine feces. I'm sorry. But yeah, I've seen people do that. I'm not sure if those Kroger plastic bags are the type of plastic that you really want to use for that. I think that hand is still really nasty, but okay, use your house. You go ahead and do you. Oh, man. Anthony writes, throw out some nails or along the root. Nah, don't do that. Don't do that. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I'm not telling grown folks what to do. I wouldn't do that. All you got to do is enjoy your Saturday. 10 a.m. to 12 noon, man, the weather's going to be beautiful on a Saturday. That's workout time. You know what I'm saying? That's, depending on your relationship, that's workout time. It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's morning wood time. You know what I'm saying? That's play with the kids time. That's a whole lot of stuff. I can spend my time doing a lot of better things on a Saturday than shouting down 84 miles of dumbish. Let them do what they're going to do. And we, the people with common sense that's looking for tangible policy for working class people, right? Then we rally in November. That's where we rally at. Let's just sit back and look at them like, well, almost like we might like a celestial occurrence, like, a comet. That's interesting. And keep on going. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should do. What's up, Grass? And he writes, good morning, alt middle. Hashtag early risers rule the world. That's right, man. I'm thinking very seriously about kicking off the show at 7 a.m. for a multitude of reasons. For me, I've just got the flexibility to do that. And I feel like a good show should be flexible to the audience. And I'm just kind of picking up some trends. People are going back to school. A lot of people doing early learning and things like that. And I want to make sure I get a chance to get your attention on a daily basis. So I'm thinking very seriously. I would say that I'm like 80% moving the show to 7 a.m., which would change the time frame perhaps. I'm not sure that I can commit to 3 hours every day. So I'm not thinking about doing 7 to 10, but maybe like a 7 to 9, maybe a 7 to 9:30, something like that. Tell me what you think in the comments. And again, what you think means everything. It really, really does. I'm doing that for you, not for me. An extra hour of sleep or whatever, always great. But when we were on at 7, I did like it. I'm up anyway. My body wakes me up at between 4:30 and 5:30 every single day, even on the damn weekends, unless it's family time. And then I may lay in the bed a little bit longer, but typically I'm up between 4:30 and 5:30 anyway. So I like the idea of doing an early morning show. Like I said, early risers rule the world. I like that concept. I believe it. I like being up early before everybody else and disseminating information. And if you live in the Cincinnati area, I don't want to leave you to Brian Thomas and his whack ass flows and his whack ass show. There are other options here in the Cincinnati area, although we might be on digital, on the internet. So I think that there is still a space in that early morning slot. If you remember, going back to commercial radio, I started early morning at 5. Remember that? I loved it. Like I said, I'm a night owl. I like moving around, being active when it's still dark outside. I like the concept of getting up before the competition. They sleeping because they think they got everything on lock. Oh, they think they winning. Okay. We up plotting. We up building. Early risers rule the world. So I'm talking myself into it more and more and more. Don't be surprised to see that very, very soon where we change the time frame of the show and start kicking it off at 7 a.m. I just love the concept. And I think that there's a large part of the audience where people are getting up early, doing their thing, getting ready for work. And you need some Cincinnati flows. You need that. Jared writes, good morning, hashtag team and I. Hey, good morning to you, Jared. Good morning to you. Brian writes, good morning. FG writes, good morning, great people. Hey, good to see everybody. Brian is on YouTube. Jared's on YouTube. You know, it's interesting to see where people are going on the show. And I have not abandoned the audio. I just have to get a new mixer. And when I get a new mixer, then we'll start doing that as well. You know, if I was doing the show today, I don't think I would necessarily start with the audio. I think I would just do the video, actually. But I didn't start the show today. And I know there's a large Cordy audience. I have not abandoned you. I'm hearing your words. And we will be back on Spreaker and tune in on a regular basis. Most definitely. Most definitely. Ray writes, that's the greatest trick the elite has played on the white folks. Convince them to vote, speak against their best interests, particularly when blacks are involved. You're right about that. Ray, great flows. You are so right about that. That is the greatest trick. These folks out here about to do 84 miles of dumb-ish. That's what we call this. Run around here talking about honk your horn for Trump. Why would I do that? Now, if Trump had delivered some policies and was a good president, I don't care if he's a Republican or a Democrat, but he hasn't done that. He turned the White House into an extension of the Trump brand. Got the DOJ representing him in rape cases. Run around here trying to suppress the truth. Run around here trying to make every facet of the government an affiliate of the Trump brand, and it should never be that way. But they're trying to use fear-mongering. You're right about that. Running against the best interests of black folks. Out here being soft on white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? And people are falling for it. People are falling for it. Hook, line, and sinker, man. That's how people can be convinced against their own best interest. That tax policy, come on, man. Knock it off. I got a message from Trump where, and he had to put his name on it. It was from the U.S. Department of Education. It was about my student loans. You might have received that. Where the Trump administration decided they were going to stop payments between, I just got it maybe like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, until next year. Now, why are you doing this right before an election? Like, if you really gave a damn, you would have did something like this years ago. I see right through you. But some people are easily swayed. See, some of these people are pro-Trump. They're really less pro-Trump, and they're really more anti-left. They're anti-MSNBC. They're anti-Black Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? They're anti, you know, what they perceive to be the forces that would take away their white privilege. That's really what it's more about. You know, it's a show. It's a show. So Trump will ish on the military, and I'll never understand this. He ishes on the military, but embraces law and order and the police organizations, and people don't see a contradiction there. Trump was running around during the Mueller investigation, ishing on the FBI. Oh, we can't trust the intelligence apparatus, but yet how are you law and order and support law enforcement? You know, damn well Trump said that stuff about the military. You know he did because he said it about John McCain. So why wouldn't we believe it? Did Trump go to war in Vietnam? No, he had deferments because he had bone spurs in his knees and in his ankles. Sure you did. You had the rich kid deferment. So I believe all of that. He seems like the kind of man that would say all that kind of stuff. He says it in public. Why wouldn't he say it when he's not in public? Grasson writes, Benghazi, if you like your health insurance, you can keep it. I can keep going on in Obama. What does Benghazi have to do with Obama? And regardless of that statement about keeping your health insurance, the other part about that, Graxton, and we don't talk about is the fact that it was the Republicans in Congress that helped to negotiate that away. That might have been Obama's intention, but the Republican majority wrestled it away during the negotiations. Why we keep forgetting the truth and the facts? Come on, man, please, please. Hey, Pat, she writes, good morning. Anthony writes, he talks about a Gold Star family that lost a son in war. I forgot about that, Anthony. Just because they didn't endorse him while he was campaigning, right? He ished on that family. Gold Star family means they lost somebody in combat. He ished on them. But he loves the military. He loves the men in law enforcement. People are dumb. Wake up. You can't have it both ways. Either you support the men and women in uniform or you don't. Period. Period. Tomorrow will be a reboot of the Beverly Hillbillies. That's Antonio on Facebook. Hey, good morning to you, bro. That's hilarious. Ray Rice Sunderman, right? Yeah, what is up with Betsy Sunderman? Who put her on council? Oh, by the way, it was the Hamilton County Republican Party who appointed her after the woman before her who didn't do a damn thing. I don't know what she did. She went to go get a job in the Trump administration, as if that means something. Good riddance. Good riddance. And the Cincinnati Inquirer is running around here doing these pieces talking about she's friends with Jan Michelle Lemon Kearney. Who cares? So, isn't she the councilwoman that was referred to as being behind the idea of painting a Protect the Blue or Support the Blue mural downtown around City Hall? She should be made to explain that, if in fact it's true. Allegedly, that's the implication. Grass and Rice, Sunderman equals Fiona from Shrek after transformation. You are wrong for that. I'm not going there. I'm not going there. Fiona from Shrek after transformation. What? I'm looking for an image. What? You wrong for that. He said that, not me. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Oh my God. Do I want to put this image up right now? Should I do this, family? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to disrespect her like that. Don't. If you say so. If you say so. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate, and the Facebook, YouTube choppers. Absolutely. Nat writes, good morning, choppers. TGIF. It is a beautiful Friday. Janice writes, good morning. She writes, I hate littering. I hate littering too. My kids hate it. Like, they taught my son at his daycare about littering. He had a phenomenal daycare teacher that used to be a former teacher. We love this woman. We bought her treats and snacks and all kind of stuff to show our appreciation, as you should do with the people that take care of your children. And then she kind of retired. I don't know if she had a falling out with the woman that owned the daycare or she decided to do some other things, but we hated it because she was teaching our son all kinds of stuff. And she was running that classroom too, boy. You ever walk into a situation and you could just tell that a person is running the classroom with your kids, and you just like, I'm impressed. You got to be impressed and support that kind of stuff when you see it, man. But anyway, she went through a little segment talking about littering. I mean, she was teaching them about the constellations, the stars. They was learning different languages in the daycare. It was love. We loved it. He's coming home, parlez-vous français? I'm like, what? Parlez-vous français? Great. He's like, Daddy, talking about the stars? I'm like, we love her. Like, we got to get her a gift bag. The wifey's good about that. Shout out to the wifey. Good morning to her. But yeah, they did a segment on littering. So now when we're out, he's like, Daddy, people are littering. He like gets super mad about it because he don't understand that there's a huge portion of adults that are filthy. Not you, but your friends and relatives. Not you, but some of your friends. Not all of them, but some of your friends and relatives are nasty, incorrigible, filthy, God's little creatures that only care about themselves. Like I told you, I got a yard to the side of my house, right? On the other side of the garage. And people think that because there's a little bit of green space, that's where you should bring your dogs. I had to chase people and confront people about this. Like, me and my son play ball here. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. The fuck? And, there's a little wet place where you can park your car. These nasty, God's little selfish, filthy, incorrigible creatures, they'll pull up and eat their fast food and then get out, just throw it onto my yard and just walk away. Who does that? Your mama didn't teach you better? So it's some issue in the yard right now I got to go clean up. So I got to put on my gloves, give me a little plastic bag. Usually it's a garbage bag. I go pick up their trash. I can only imagine what their homes look like. Because if you're willing to do that, That means you're probably the kind of person when you land on the couch, we finish your food, you probably throw it on the floor. I'll get it later. I don't feel like walking to the kitchen. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Probably got trash bins in every room. You got like 2 trash bins in every room in your house because you're too lazy to get up and put it in one central location. Lazy mofos burns me up. The problem I have is you take away free plastic bags, then the alternative now is paying for reusable bags. Where is the free alternative? Okay, that's fair. And from what I understand is if you purchase your let me see here. Hold on. Well, let me say this first. According to the EPA, that's the Environmental Protection Agency, the United States produces millions of tons of plastic bag waste each year. Most bags go to landfills where they may take hundreds of years to biodegrade, and fewer than 10% are recycled. So when I'm in a grocery store and I see people whip out their own bags, I'm like, you know what? We vibing. I like you as a human. I like you as a human because you're thinking about something bigger than yourself. It's a small thing. It's a small thing, in my opinion, to make a one-time purchase of $3 or $4, $5 even. And most of our bags are like $3, $4. Get yourself a little bag that's reusable. And then remember, and our attention spans is like 30 seconds wide, like as long as a World Star video. Remember, and then to bring it with you when you go to the grocery store. It's not that difficult. But as I understand it, let me see here. The ordinance requires businesses to charge at least 5 cents per bag. However, each individual business can choose to set the price point higher, and money earned from the reusable bag charge will go toward their business, not the city of Cincinnati. This element of the ordinance was the cornerstone of Sunderman's no vote. She said, although some low-income people will not have to pay for bags, I'll read more about that in a second. She worried about the cost of buying them would create a financial hardship for small business owners. Quote, the businesses are still required to give them reusable bags. So that will put extra burden on small business owners in low-income communities. Okay. Customers who are paying for their purchase with EBT cards, electronic benefits transfer cards, do not have to pay for their bags. Everyone else is required to pay or bring a bag or home. So that solves that. Or does that solve that? It addresses it. What else do you think the city council should do to help people who are low income? Is Betsy Sunderman right in being concerned about the price, the cost on small businesses? Maybe. But like I said, if nobody is alive to come to your business, you don't have a business. I know I'm thinking very extremely, but you got to think like that. We got to think globally, act locally. Every city has to be involved, right, in this fight. And listen, please take a second and share this video. Share the gospel of the flow this morning. Ray writes, they have very sturdy decorative bags that doubles as a cooler bag on Home Shocking Network. Yes, they do. We got a couple of them. You can even get the bags that they're insulated with like some kind of like material that keeps things either hot or cool, right? So if you're transporting maybe some of your frozen goods a long distance before you put them back in the refrigerator or freezer, it can help keep them very, very cool. I mean, there's better ways of doing this. We always act like we get stuck on doing we get stuck on doing things the same way because some of us are lazy. We don't want to. I don't want to wear a mask. I don't want to have to bring my own plastic bag. I'm doing it. It ain't that hard. We keep them right at the door, which is to the left of the camera here, not too far. We keep them to the right at the door. There are times when I do forget, but I'm just going to have to remember. So now we put them in the car as well. So we got some at the door and some in the car in case you forget, because humans can be forgetful. Even the smartest and most on top of things and organized people can forget sometimes. Hey, everybody does it. Everybody does it. And then, to be honest with you, I prefer it. I prefer having my own bag. I got a little bit of OCD problem. I won't call it a problem. I got a little OCD thing. I actually like it. You know what I'm saying? What people are doing now, I've been doing. I don't touch these handles, and I'm wearing gloves and hitting the soap every day anyway. That's just in me. Because humans, some of y'all relatives and friends, not you, are nasty. I see them every day. I see them every day. I want to walk the dog, pick up the poop with a plastic bag that is not designed to hold feces. It's not designed for that, but we think plastic can do everything. We think every plastic bag is exactly the same. Negative. That is not true. That is not true. And then we want to go shake people's hands and go to the grocery store. You're nasty. See, Samantha writes, good morning, all. Good morning. JC writes, the plastic bags Kroger uses for their pickup service are reusable, and they're free when you use their curbside service. I love the curbside service at Kroger. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. The wifey doesn't love it so much because she says she wants to touch her own vegetables. I get it, but I think that experience is overrated. And when I weigh it in terms of time, I would much rather go online, order my stuff, pull up. You've never done before? Again, this is not an endorsement for Kroger. I'm just saying I like the curbside grocery service in general. It works great. You get on the app, you type in your stuff, you pull in, you call a little number and say, hey, I'm in slot 5. They come out and put it in your car. They'll put it in your back seat for you. If they had to make some, put some alternatives because they didn't have something in stock, they'll tell you. They'll walk back in and take it off of your bill and then give you an updated receipt. Does it get any better than that? I don't know they got grocery stores in heaven, but if they do, I bet they got curbside service. I bet they do, man. That's the way to go right there. I love it. And you're getting a free reusable plastic bag? Shh. Man, please. I tried to get Chairman Mom to do it because she can barely get around. She's older now. But she's talking about something, I want to touch my tomatoes. Mom, you ain't got to get out the car. I don't care about that touching my greens. I don't want nobody touching my greens. Mom, they touch your greens when they put them on the shelf. I don't care about that. I want to get my own onions. Okay, Mom. Then she goes into the grocery store. She's there like 2 hours to pick up $75 worth of stuff. Just walking around, just looking at stuff like, are these corn cans the same? I mean, yes, Ma. It drives us crazy. Her children, it drives her crazy. Janice writes, clean up after yourself. No one else should have to clean up after you. I agree. Brenda's on Facebook. She writes, happy Friday. I look at the world, the whole world as my front yard, which I will not litter. Listen, we've all littered before. Like, I was a child. I did it. I was younger. Like, you know what? Psh. You know what I'm saying? I did all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I did all it. But that was when I was younger. I'm a grown, conscious man at this point. We know better. What do I look like eating some fast food in my car, which I don't know. I don't do. And then just taking it and throwing it in somebody's yard that they take the time to manicure and maintain. Damn. But again, I figured it out this morning kind of talking with you. You know, this is catharsis for me and the world. This show is if you're willing to put that trash in your body, if you want to run out here getting the Travis Scott McDonald's meal, I saw that trash like, man, way to go, Travis Scott. I didn't know he was that big of a star. I had no idea Travis Scott was big like that. I guess he is. He got some dope songs, though. He's like more of a movement right now. And I love that this brother is making such a big move. That's a big move. Like the only time they've ever had like a meal that was endorsed by somebody was Michael Jordan. You talk about rare air. McDonald's is the #1 fast food chain in the world. There's people in countries that we can't even pronounce that eat McDonald's. That is huge for him personally. I'll never eat it. You know what I'm saying? I gave that up a long time ago, way even before my cardiac event. I don't with it no more. I'm like, this is trash. And I don't trash the temple. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to Travis Scott, man. Was it what's the Kardashian mother? Because she is a one when it comes to securing the deals and securing the bag for her daughters. Did she secure this deal? I heard they're going to be stopping that show, man. I mean, I started watching it. I watched it for a little while. There was a time when I was into reality television shows. Don't judge me. And I did watch Keeping with the Kardashians. It was entertaining for whatever reason. And what was it? What's the mother's name? It's not Kim, because that's the daughter. I mean, just think about that whole empire that was made off of a sex tape. The whole clan is making money now. You know, one of the daughters is a supermodel. The other one is a billionaire selling products. They all rock with black men, which is very interesting, as part of their allure. The way that family has used black men, I should circle back around and spend more time talking about it. Because they all love the brothers. They all love black men. And that made that show even more interesting when you had Kanye coming in, you had Lamar Odom coming in, you had these black men coming in, Travis Scott coming in, right, as a part of the storyline. I mean, you talk about, if ever there was an award for the most creative usage of black men, you got to give it to the Kardashians. What's the mother's name? Damn, I forget her name. See. You got to give it to the Kardashians. They get the award for the most creative usage of Kris Jenner. What a strange family. Kris Jenner, I think about Bruce Jenner. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, this is just my first reaction to it. You talking about, they must have the most powerful estrogen in the fucking universe. Because they turned this brother that was an Olympian, and now he want to be a woman like them. I don't see it happening to me, but something's going on. Just think about this. Tell me I'm wrong. Kris Jenner and the Kardashian clan, they get the award for the most creative usage of black men. Because they all making money. Kris Jenner got her a black, is he a husband now or a boyfriend or something? She got her a young black mandingo. Just saying. And Travis Scott was with, I don't know all the names. Was it Kylie? And Kylie is a billionaire. All this started because Kim Kardashian did a sex tape with a black man, Ray J. I don't know what Kris Jenner is doing, man. I don't know. She might be a witch. I don't know what she's doing, but she know how to get to the bag. So, oh, you want to date Travis Scott? Yeah. Yeah, come on in here, Travis. Kanye? Lamar Odom? You name it. Most creative usage of black men. I give it to the Kardashian clan. They know how to get the bag, boy. Woo! I don't even know what they sell. I don't even know what they sell. I have no idea what Kylie sells. Is it makeup or something like that? I know that Kim is worth $300 million, maybe nearly $1 billion. And you know that Kris Jenner was a part of all of this. Travis Scott's one of the biggest hip hop artists in the world. Only two celebrities, two personal endorsements for their own meals ever in the history of McDonald's. Michael Jordan and Travis Scott. That's big. And so that Travis Scott trash is going to end up in your driveway. Get ready for it. The time and energy put into eliminating Kroger bags is the same time and energy they could have used to push the mayor to fulfill his promise to lift black and brown kids out of poverty. Where's the priority? I feel you. I understand where you're coming from. I believe I understand where you're coming from. Aldi uses boxes. Bags are the step up, right? And those Aldi bags are reusable. I go to Aldi. And the boxes are biodegradable, right? I mean, at some point, we as people have to put we got to sacrifice for the community. We got to sacrifice for the globe, for the environment. I read that there are islands of trash floating around the ocean. Let me put a picture up for you. It's called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. Are you aware of this? It's a collection of debris, marine debris, in the North Pacific Ocean. And it spans, in some cases, as far as the eye can see. You got to see this, yo. Let me put this on the screen for you so you can see this. Like, people are like, well, why do we have to do this? I'm going to show you why we got to do this. Because that trash ends up somewhere. It ends up somewhere. Let me put this on the screen for you. You got to see this. You got to see this. Hold on. Sorry about that. You got to see this. You got to see this. You won't believe this. If you haven't seen it before, you're not going to believe this. You are not going to believe this when I show this to you. People say, I want to go to the islands. Well, this is one island you don't want to go to. I want to go to the Caribbean. Well, this is one island that you don't want to go to. 100%. I share this with you. I'm going to share this with you in just 1 second. You didn't look at it. Look at this. This is real right here. Floating trash island found in the Caribbean. Now, raise your hand if you want to go to this island. That's the byproduct of lazy ass humans. That's what that is. Trash floating around the Caribbean, littering up God's most precious resource, which is the globe. I'm sorry, yo. I'm willing to sacrifice for the globe. If I gotta be, if it's a minor inconvenience for the globe, I'm willing to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It ain't no big deal. Let me give you another shot up so you know it's real. I'm gonna take that off. Look at this. Look at it. This is what happens to your trash. Just floating in the ocean. Just floating. Now, do you think that's good for the fish? Is that good for marine life? Hell no, it's not. Every piece of that trash represents the actions of one of God's selfish little creatures. One of us. This is what God created the earth for. I'm telling you, y'all, we're going to F this up. We're going to F this up. We're going to blow it. We're going to blow it. God created this globe for us, and we are going to blow it. We're going to mess it all up on some dumbish. This is crazy. Just mountains and mountains and mountains. It's just ridiculous. It's called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. You can actually go on Google right now and check it out for yourself. This is real. But you know, God's selfish little creatures, unless it's in our backyard, we don't care about it. It's like, oh, well, you know, no big deal. Out of sight, out of mind. Come on, y'all. We got to think better than this. We grown. What's the use of being grown if you ain't going to use that brain and all this experience? I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand. Put another C. This is like more of a map that shows you the the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. This is the North Pacific, right? Everybody wants to what? Retire and go to the Caribbean, right? You want to go to a tropical destination and see the islands. You don't want to see that. Just off the coast of California. It's a travesty, y'all. It's a straight up travesty. But listen, I got a call on the line. Let's go straight to the call this morning. Hey, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Mr. Ivey. This is your West Side Connection, Drop Squad 52, calling in from the left coast, the People's Republic of California. And guess what, Mr. Ivey?
What?
It's Friday, and I ain't got no job. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Welcome.
Well, like I told you many times, Mr. Ivey, California is coming to Ohio. And your new bag law is exactly what California passed in 2018. So, Mr. Ivey, I could give you some instances of what I had to go through dealing with the whole bag thing, but you summed it up in your monologue. It's just this is the way they do it out here in California. The law is the grocery stores can no longer give the bags for free. Okay. So if you want a bag here in California, you have to pay 10 cents per plastic bags. Now these new bags are higher quality and they're more reusable type than the other kind of thin, flimsy plastic that they had before the law. Now, It is an adjustment period, Mr. Ivy, because for me, it's easy because I pretty much shop the same all the time. It's just me. So I know how many bags to take in the store. But in the beginning, when it first started, these people who have large families, like say yourself, I mean, Mr. Ivy, there were arguments at the cash register because people would get there and the cashier would say, "Do you have your bags?" And people like, and at that point, you know, it was still an adjustment period. So people with big families, they would end up having to spend, you know, money on the bags. But now, you know, people are used to it. And like you said, you keep your bags in your car along with the mask now. It's just another adjustment. And again, when this thing happened out here in California, it's exactly what some of the people are saying, like Terrence Craxton, Black Russia. He had a post on Twitter, and it's the same thing. These companies that made the bags, they had to lay off workers. Small businesses, like say corner stores and little mom and pop places, by law, they couldn't give out the bags, and it was affecting their business. But now people have kind of adjusted to it, and I want to give a shout out to TNT because she started a business because of the face mask requirements. And now she may want to expand her business and start making reusable shopping bags. And she could put all her logos on there. And that's what people did out here in California. People started making money by selling these reusable bags. And, but again, Mr. Ivy, when I heard that post from Black Russia on Twitter, I said, man, it's finally making it across the country. And California, they're trendsetters because San Francisco did it in 2008. They were first. And it finally trickled down to, I think, 2018. They got it on the ballot because they knew it was going to be huge turnout, which is rare for a midterm. But they got it on the ballot. California turned out, and they passed the law. So there's steps right now to try to get it repealed, but we'll have to wait and see. But Mr. Ivy, I did not hear you mention the NFL that opened up yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't watch
between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Houston Texans. Did
I
you
didn't
hear
watch
what
it.
happened?
No, what happened?
Did you hear what happened?
No.
Well, each team had their own little ways of dealing with it, but there were boos, Mr. Ivy, because one of the agreements was after the national anthem was over, because Houston decided to stay in the locker room. So when the national anthem was over and all the teams were on the field getting ready, on the sidelines getting ready, Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, the two starting quarterbacks for the teams, and oh, by the way, two highest paid black quarterbacks in the NFL, Colin Kaepernick, they came to the center of the field, and then they gestured to all the team. I'm talking about trainers, everybody, got to the middle of the field, and they all locked arms. And then the fans just started booing because they thought they were going to start kneeling.
Right.
But they did not kneel. That was their way of showing unity. And they also played the song Lift Every Voice and Sing, the so-called Black National Anthem. And the NFL says they're going to do that the opening week of the season for every team. They will play that song. And then after that, the league probably won't even show the national anthem or anything until the actual kickoff. So if there are going to be players kneeling or doing some type of protest during the national anthem, they're not going to show it on TV. The networks will not show it. They will just start the game at the kickoff.
Interesting.
So trust will verify everything, but there is some pushback. And of course, you know, last night the NFL was going against the NBA playoffs with King James, the professional Negro of the NBA. So I don't know what the numbers are, but there's a lot of skepticism that the NFL is going to make a big mistake if they want to push the Black Lives Movement protest in the faces of their fans like the NBA is doing. And also in the end zone, at the back of the end zone, not the entire 10 yards of the end zone, but at the back of the end zone, they had slogans like "We're in this together" and things like that. So that's the way the NFL is kicking it off, and I haven't seen the numbers yet, but it's going to be interesting because they're running that clip of the fans booing at that so-called show of unity between the Chiefs and the Texans. And oh, by the way, Mr. Ivey, four of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league are all black.
Yeah, and, but none of the majority owners of the league teams are black. That's what's more important.
But Mr. Ivey, it takes time for progress.
What you mean it takes time? The league's been around for years and years and years. Make it happen,
okay,
Cap.
but Mr. Ivey, Michael Jordan became the first majority owner in the NBA, and he played in the 80s. It took him 30 years to accumulate the wealth that's required to purchase a professional sports franchise.
Yeah,
okay,
and so I'm not sure what the problem is. I'm not sure what your issue is.
But I'm saying, Mr. Ivey, I'm saying probably in your lifetime, and maybe not mine, there will be multiple black people that own sports franchises.
Majority owner in the NFL, not a minority owner, because we got those. Majority owner principal.
That's what I said. It takes time, Mr. Ivey. Black people have been so far behind.
They've had time.
Mr. Ivey, black people have been so far behind because they have been following the liberal policies of the desperate Democrat Party. It's only been 5 to 10%
I think it's
of
more
black people who just move like they out here to make money. It ain't about black and white. They out here to make money. Because if you're gonna reach that level of wealth, Mr. Ivey, we talking about like the Michael Jordans and the Magic Johnsons and the Bob Johnsons and the Oprah Winfreys and the Jay-Z's and the Beyoncés. To reach that level of wealth, Mr. Ivey, you are selling something to a whole bunch of white people. So again, Mr. Ivey, I just want to say, sir, that the whole bag thing is going to take some adjustment, but I'm telling you, Mr. Ivey, it is going to take a hell of adjustment for a lot of people to get used to.
All right.
But, either you're going to spend the money on the bag or you're going to bring your own, or you're going to purchase a bag from TNT.
Yeah, boldwriting.com. Boldwriting.com.
Yeah,
you can get your TNT tailor-made mask today.
Oh, say that again?
I said it's called boldwriting.com. That's our website.
And that's a website for T. Nicole Taylor?
Yeah, for TNT, you can get your mask there.
Okay, she's also on Twitter, too. I think she has a link on Twitter.
Yep. Probably
to sell her products. If she doesn't, she better step her game up. But before I go, Mr. Ivey, yesterday in Freeland, Michigan, did you see the spectacle that is the 45th president of the United States?
No.
The first orange president, the first gangster president. Mr. Ivey, he got a new way of doing the rallies now. He's doing them on the tarmac. Mr. Ivey. This is one hell of a visual. That you can see the plane landing, okay? And all the people in the hangar, and the camera shot is toward the tarmac, and you can see the plane landing, right? And then, of course, after some time, you'll see it taxi around, and it pulls up right in front of the hangar where everything's set up. I'm telling you, Mr. Ivey, I just posted some on Twitter. You see it on my timeline. I'm telling you, Mr. Ivey, the Democrats are worried. Because the latest polling,
you are wild, man. That is hilarious. And you gonna stick with that,
Mr. Ivey? He coming to your town. You wait. I heard you talking about it. You wait.
I'm on your Twitter right now. I don't see it, man. Oh, okay. I see it here. I'll put it up on the screen here so people can see this trash. You impressed by this?
Mr. Ivey, I'm already on the team. I'm talking about people who pissed off at the Democrats when they see old-ass, shaky-ass, sleepy-ass Joe holding a so-called rally at a Ford plant in Michigan in a parking lot with 5 trucks in the background and 6 reporters. Nobody. You hear like 5 people clapping.
So you're impressed by this? Come
Mr.
on, man.
Ivey,
You can't be that easily impressed.
Mr. Ivey,
I've
we're
seen this
talking
done
about a
before,
guy.
man. This ain't the first time they've done this. I've seen this done before.
Mr. Ivey, we're in the pandemic, okay? Joe Biden running around making excuses. He got to do social distance. He can't do this. But Donald Trump pulls this off. He finds a way to hold the rally without having to be indoors. Then he adds this element to it. Joe Biden doesn't even have a campaign plane, Mr. Ivey.
Listen, man.
He doesn't even have a doesn't even have a Scooby van.
Let me say that to you, man.
Like Hillary did.
When you go to the circus, don't fall in love with the show. Just enjoy it for what it is and leave. That's it, man. Just enjoy it for what it is and leave.
Mr. Ivey,
simple as that.
It's a campaign. It's a campaign, sir.
You Trumpsters are so easily impressed, man. He pulls a rabbit out of a hat ostensibly, and y'all fall in love. Like, how he do that? He land a plane on a tarmac? How'd he do that? How'd he do that?
All I'm telling you is Donald Trump is making Joe Biden and the Democrats work. They didn't think it was going to be this hard.
He's making all conscious people around the world worried, man. It ain't just the Democrats. Everybody's worried that this fool might get reelected.
Mr. Ivey, you know it's a chance. You are a reasonable, fair, and biased, powerful, influential member of the media. And you've been around. You've seen this happen. We don't even have to go back to 2004 when Hurricane Katrina, George W. Bush hate black people, and he called the hurricane headquarters and told them to go drop some pain on some black people in Louisiana. Nobody thought he was going to win in 2004 against John Kerry. Okay, so all I'm telling you, Mr. Ivey, this is a campaign. And the Republican Party is saying it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Drop Squad 52, dropping science to anyone who wants to catch it. Where you at,
Mason? He's cracking up, man. He's like the black Joker for Trump with that little laugh there. I mean, that just goes to show you that the Trumpsters, they fall in love with the show. I mean, when you go to the circus, you take it for what it is. You shouldn't come away all impressed. How they do that? They had the lions up on top of a chair? How they do that? Come on, now you're a grown man. Stop it. Stop it. Speaking of Trump, I want to play this because it was a really interesting moment in which a White House reporter confronted Trump on his lies. Would you like to hear? Check this out.
Why did you lie to the American people, and why should we trust what you have to say now?
That's a terrible question.
Actually, it's a great question. Why did you lie to the American people, and why should we trust you now? I can't think of a better question. That is a completely reasonable question. But again, what we learned from Trump is that when he doesn't like the question, and when the question holds him accountable, he attacks the question and the person that makes the question. Or he'll try to attack and start talking about fake news media. He'll start talking about the organization itself. But this is great White House reporting. If you work in the White House in these days and times, or really any time, and you're confronted with a scenario like this is the type of question you should be asking. Check this out.
Why did you lie to the American people, and why should we trust what you have to say now?
That's a terrible question, and the phraseology, I didn't lie. What I said is we have to be calm. We can't be panicked. I knew that the tapes these were a series of phone calls that we had, mostly phone calls. And Bob Woodward is somebody that I respect just from hearing the name for many, many years, not knowing too much about his work, not caring about his work. But I thought it would be interesting to talk to him for a period of, calls. So we did that. I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't even know if the book is good or bad. But certainly if he thought that was a bad statement, he would have reported it because he thinks that, you don't want to have anybody that is going to suffer medically because of some fact. And he didn't report it because he didn't think it was bad. Nobody thought it was bad. Wait a minute. And your question, the way you phrase that is such a disgrace. It's a disgrace to ABC Television Network. It's a disgrace to your employer. And that's the answer. You ready? Because I love. Of course I didn't. Of course I didn't. No.
Than the flu, and then you went out and told the American public that this was just like the flu.
Let me tell
I
you
mean,
something.
you told
We've had
Woodward
flu
one thing and you
years.
told everybody else something else.
No, and 5 times, right? 5 times. You ever hear the expression 5 times? We've had flu years where we lost 100,000 people. The flu is a very serious problem for this country also, and we've been losing them. Scott, what kind of a number have we lost over the years with flus? Into the hundreds of thousands.
Don't try to bring Scott
Well,
into
I mean,
this.
the last 5 years have been something like 35 to 80,000 per year, every year.
Uh-huh. Hold on 1 second. I want to stop right there. Quite interesting. So this is Trump telling more lies. He starts talking about Bob Woodward. Well, I mean, if it was so bad, then why didn't Bob Woodward report it? And that's a question for Bob Woodward. You're the president. Don't try to put this on Bob Woodward. Well, I mean, if it was such a bad thing, then why didn't Bob Woodward put it out before now? Bob Woodward is in it to sell books. He is not the elected official. He is not the so-called leader of the free world. You are, sir.
Flu is a very serious problem also. But just so you
this is worse than the most deadlier than the most strenuous flu.
okay.
And then you went out and said it's just like the flu.
What I went out and said was very simple. Listen, what I went out and said is very simple. I want to show a level of confidence, and I want to show strength as a leader, and I want to show that our country is going to be fine one way or the other. Whether we lose one person, we shouldn't lose any, because this shouldn't have happened. This is China's fault. This is nobody's fault but China. China should not have allowed it to happen. Whether you have one person, 180,000 people, or 2.5 or 3 million people, which it could have been very seriously if we didn't make the moves. And when you look at it, he put the ultimately putting the ban on Europe. There was no lie here. What we're doing is we're leading, and we're leading in a proper way. And if, frankly, somebody else was leading it, they wouldn't have closed it. If you look at Nancy Pelosi, you look at Cuomo, you look at de Blasio, you look at Biden, months later they said there's no problem. They're talking about me. Months later. And before any statement was made, you have to remember, I put the ban on China. So obviously, outwardly, I said it's a very serious problem. And it's always a serious problem. That doesn't mean I'm going to jump up and down in the air and start saying, people are going to die, people are going to die. No, I'm not going to do that. We're going to get through this. And we're right now, I hope, really think we're rounding the final turn. And a lot of good things are happening with vaccines and with therapeutics. But there's no lying. And the way you asked that question is very disgraceful. Phil, go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I do think so. I
Mr.
think we did a great job. I think we did a great job. And the people that did such, our generals, our admirals, Mike Pence, all of the people that have worked so hard, and now Dr. Atlas, and all of the, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, they should be respected for the job they've done.
So you won't downplay it again. You won't downplay it again, because you said you downplayed it. That's what you told me.
All I'm doing is, no, I don't want to jump up and down and start screaming death, death, because that's not what it's about. We have to lead a country. We're leading a great country, and we're doing a great job. And the people that have done such a good job should be given the kind of credit that they deserve. We possibly have done the best jobs when you start looking at what we're doing with the vaccines and therapeutics and ventilators. We had no ventilators, John. We make thousands of ventilators now a month, and we're supplying them to the whole world. The job we've done is the best job. And don't give me any credit. Give the people that have done this the credit. They've done a great job. Yeah, Phil, go ahead.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. We're not going to give you no credit. You're right about that. Trump lied for weeks on weeks on weeks and weeks and weeks. He played it down because he thought it would benefit him in a couple of ways. Number one, he thought Trump is so narcissistic that he thinks that he can talk and ish happens. He thinks that he can talk and things will happen, like the stock market will respond positively. And if I just come out here and just tell a bunch of lies, then people won't get infected by COVID-19. That's extreme narcissism. And his motivation was to try to talk it down so it wouldn't impact the economy and therefore impact possibly his efforts to be reelected, period. That's what it was all about. How do we know this? We know this because this year, a book was released by a person that was working in the White House, a neoconservative, and he said that everything that Trump says and does is about re-election, even if it's not the best public policy for the United States, even if it's against our security interest. That was John Bolton. John Bolton is not a liberal. He don't work at MSNBC. He's a neoconservative. He's an arch neoconservative. He's a conservative to the very end. The man wouldn't even testify during the impeachment. He's so much of a conservative. He's such a Republican. And he said in his book and went on a world tour and said everything Trump does is about Trump. So when Trump came out talking about trying to talk down COVID-19, he wasn't thinking about you. He wasn't thinking about me. He don't care about your children. He was thinking about him and how it might affect his efforts to be reelected. And then he was running around on some Gilligan-ish for so long that when it started to impact, the slowed response from the United States started to impact the COVID actual numbers, then he had a motivation to start talking it down to make it seem as if the actions of his administrations didn't have an impact at all. We see right through you. And yet this is the kind of man that people in the state of Ohio, the greater Cincinnati area, they want to start, Cincy Rally for Trump, 84 miles of Gilligan's. That's what it is. That's what happened. I'm going to play a clip for you right now. You can find these mashups. It's just one clip after another of Trump talking down COVID-19. Oh, nothing to see here, folks. Oh, no, oh, nothing to see here. Oh, move along, nothing here. Come on, y'all, stop it. All right, let's go back to the phones. This is facts. Let's go back to the phones. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, comrade.
Hey, what's up, Black Russia? What's up?
I'm chilling. What's up?
I'm doing great, man. Welcome. What's on your mind?
Thank you. Man, I was on the sports yesterday, which I thought was great. Unfortunately, Serena lost. But I thought what the players did in the middle of the field, you see them get booed?
I did see. Well, I saw it this morning. Drop just brought it to my attention. I didn't see it last night. I was watching the Lakers game.
I saw it live, man. I couldn't believe it.
I can believe it.
Well, I mean, okay, the folks who get to go to these games are the hardcore season ticket holders, and they get pulled. So, like, these are the folks who actually financially support the team. In some respects, the season ticket holders really do that. And to see them boo, I was just shocked, man. I was like, damn, they just won the Super Bowl and they still got booed. It's crazy.
It says something about the mentality of the ticket holders.
Oh, man. Yeah, I thought that was kind of wild, but he used to stay in the locker room. I bet you that's what Bengals do too.
Stay in the locker room?
They're gonna just stay in the locker room.
I think that's a coward.
They don't want to lock the boat.
That's the coward way.
Why is that cowardly? It's like they don't want to look. Some guys just want to play football and they know what's going on, but they don't want to bring that stuff to work. They just want to play football. Now, and this is a vote too. Apparently, the Houston did. They took a vote, and Cats voted like to stay in the locker room. So this wasn't implemented. Okay. This wasn't pushed down their throat.
Okay.
This is what they wanted to do. I think we're going to see the Bengals do the same thing. I don't know if it's a coward move. I think it's just like, hey, we can talk about that after the game or before the game because these guys are making fashion statements. So, when it comes to the game, as a team, as a brand, I don't think they want to necessarily dive into that. But, I seen one player, Kansas City number 57. I'm not sure who that guy is, but he was the only guy I saw that kneeled. So, I'll have to watch his career now to see anything nefarious happen.
Right. You're right. Because they might take it out on him.
Man, well, I mean, the camera shots, if you watch the game, it was kind of interesting. They were watching for people to do it. They did it when they found number 57. I don't know what his name, but once they found him, they was focusing on him. They took angles. I was like, wow, they're watching. But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. But other than that, man, I think Trump. And I was saying this on the live. I think this is really true to any president. Presidents don't want to cause widespread panic. for whatever reason. Some people say, oh, it's because he was investing in the stock market on the back end. You look at the grocery stores, like when this first hit, like they were already like empty. Think about if Trump coming out here, this is a deadly disease, and you need to be scared. Man, everything would have went crazy. It would have went haywire. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, you know, Trump should have, you know, come out here and scare people. I think that's what some people are asking for. Like they wanted Trump to come out here and scare, and they would have criticized him if he just did that anyway. Like, oh, he caused widespread panic. So he couldn't win either way. So, you know, the reality was just, you know, try to deal with it on the back end and try not to cause panic and try not to cause the country to go haywire. Because fear will do that. You know, it'll trump any policy. Fear could have crashed the country at the time. And he, you know, downplaying it, perhaps, but I think it was probably the best move for the country overall. Looking back.
Well, I disagree. I think that might be the talking point right now. I can see people on Fox News and other folks saying that. But in reality, there's 10,000 miles between the way Trump dealt with it and scaring people. There's 10,000 miles between that.
You think it's that far of a gap?
It's 10,000 miles between him saying it's no big deal and playing it down and nothing to see here, and him saying you're going to die tomorrow. There's 10,000 miles. Obama did it. He was able to be serious and have a serious response to the Ebola virus and not go into scaring people. So I don't really buy that. And
Ebola didn't leave Texas. He didn't have to say anything about it.
I'm just saying.
It didn't go to Texas.
I'm just saying. There's 10,000 miles between the way that Trump dealt with it was to deny it, nothing to see here, it'll be gone next week, no big deal, and scaring people. And let's not act like there's not. And then secondly,
Ebola didn't even leave the hospital, Nathan.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Trump could have came out and said, look, y'all, this is serious. We're going to be on top of it. I'm going to make sure that he could have told people to mask up. That wouldn't have scared nobody. So I don't buy that's an excuse. That's a straight up excuse for Trump. He don't get no excuse.
No, I don't think so.
And then, I don't know about you, man, but I don't never want to be lied to in a relationship. I don't want to be lied to in no relationship as a grown person.
Hold on. You got a relationship with the presidency? I don't.
Yeah, we do have a relationship with the presidency. Yes, we do.
Look, all right, explain that.
It's simple as that. He's the president, and we are the American people, and there's a relationship between the two of us. That's it.
Okay.
You said that he probably did the right thing and lied to us, and as a grown person, I don't see that. Just give it to me. I can't see a scenario when I want to be lied to. Just give it to me straight.
Downplay was your word. I'm sticking with your word in terms of downplaying versus lying. I mean, you know, this
Trump lied.
But the reality is, all right, look. If you want to use the word lie, I'm not gonna dispute that. If you use the word downplay, then it went to lie. The fact is, like, the country would have crashed if he would have came out here and try to be like, hey, this is serious, as you just described.
No, it wouldn't have. No, it wouldn't have. Because the country didn't crash.
You just call people stupid. But you call people stupid with plastic bags. Like, so if you think that we're...
No, I didn't call people stupid. I said they were God's little selfish, incorrigible, filthy creatures. That's what I call them.
That's people who call Trump supporters.
I'm just saying. But I wasn't talking about Trump supporters. I was talking about these filthy individuals throwing their trash everywhere on the ground. That's what I'm talking about. There's 100,000 miles between the way Trump dealt with it and scaring people. He didn't scare people when he finally said wearing a mask is patriotic. He could have did that from the very beginning. Just that.
When does it matter when he said it? Why does that matter? What does the timing matter behind that? That doesn't matter.
What does the timing matter when we're dealing with the infection rate of a biological entity? What are you talking about? Of course it matters.
It doesn't matter, bro.
It matters 100%. Just like it mattered when you go back to...
People say that. It doesn't matter when the president says that, bro.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Now you're trying to call Donald Trump crazy and people shouldn't listen to him, but then you say like, oh, well, he should have said masked up in the beginning.
Yeah.
And the people who listen to him, like, you can't have it both ways either. Like,
no, it's not trying to have it both ways. It's only one way, and it was the public health way. He chose to do it the Donald Trump only care about his own interest way. It does matter. At the beginning of the pandemic, if Donald Trump had taken it more seriously, had he implored people to mask up, had he let people understand that this was serious, then perhaps less people would have got infected. Now we'll never really know, but I think logically that just makes sense.
Like you said, we disagree on it. I just simply look at it from a standpoint of you don't want to cause the country to go into a tailspin of fear.
He wasn't going to cause the country to go into no tailspin of fear.
You got people out here wiping out the shelves, man. I mean, come on, man.
That happened anyway.
Right. So why would you even say project that?
Right.
So why just let it happen, bro? Instead of projecting that, like that's what.
So
what
why?
Like,
so wait a minute. Donald Trump himself has already admitted he lied, and you're defending him. He already admitted that he lied.
What I'm saying is that I understand how we got to this point by the downplaying of the fact that you don't want to go out here and say, "Hey, people, millions are going to die," or hundreds of thousands are going to die. Like that happened anyway. So why would you come out the gate and say that and put people into a tailspin of fear?
Like I told you,
anyway.
In my relationships, I prefer the truth, no matter what the truth is. The same thing in my relationship with a president, the leader of a country, when we're dealing with a biological pandemic. Give it to me real. There's 1,000 miles between telling us the truth and lying to us. So he ain't getting no credit for lying to us. He could have came out and started talking about how patriotic it was to wear a mask from the very beginning. And maybe some of these people that was running around here not wearing a mask would have been masked up. And maybe a few thousand or 10,000 or 100,000 more people or less people would have been infected. But again, we'll never know because he didn't step up to the moment. He took the coward's way out, which was lying to protect his own interests. And he just admitted it. I don't know what you're defending. He just admitted that he lied.
What I'm defending is not sending the country. It's a fear. It's a total people. Fear can cripple people. It can do all types of stuff. That's what you don't want to do as a leader.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you don't want to do as a leader. So I understand he may have did that in a terrible way, but I understand mentally what he's trying to do.
So he's
trying to make sure a tailspin, pandemic's going on. You tell people hundreds of thousands are going to die. People are going to freak out.
Right.
And we know this.
I disagree. But again, we disagree. Like I said, I don't want to be lied to.
Right.
Give it to me real.
I get it.
And you think it's okay to be lied to depending on how the person who's lying to you perceives how you're going to take the truth. Okay, we disagree on that.
That's not what I said.
That is what you're saying.
You don't want, as a public leader, you don't want to cause widespread fear. It send the country into the tailspin of fear and being crippled. You don't want to do that.
So let me clarify.
He may have did that piss poorly. Go ahead.
No, I want you to finish your flows.
No, I'm go ahead.
So just to clarify, I want to make sure I understand what I'm hearing from you. So you think that the president should lie to the American people about the possible severity of a pandemic because you think it might cause fear?
What I think is that as the leaders of the free world, you want to project confidence. You don't want to project fear because fear can cripple people. So if you go out here and say, we about to be hitting 200,000 people dying. Let's say they projected that in the background. All right. You go out here and tell the public, hundreds of thousands may die. You don't do that.
Yeah.
They probably knew this was going to happen anyway. People are saying they wanted you don't know the real. Hundreds of thousands are going to die. People that you love might die. The economy's going to crash. You might lose your job. Our way of life is totally changed. He's supposed to say that off top. I don't buy that, man.
The Achilles heel.
Anyway.
The Achilles heel of your argument, as I hear it, as you said several times, it was going to happen anyway. If it was going to happen anyway, why not tell the truth and energize the American resources to deal with it? If it's going to happen anyway, isn't that a better approach? If it's going to happen anyway, is to be real about it, to energize resources and deal with it.
I think he was energizing resources. We was coming to these people threatening to use the Manufacturers Act. I mean, he was working that hand. As far as we needed PPE, we needed that. Look that up. He was going back door to these people instead of enforcing the Manufacturers Act, making them do it. He was back in the room trying to make them do it without government, pushing them to do it.
Right.
I mean, that's a political
By
philosophy,
dismantling the
not-
pandemic response team set up by the Obama administration. Right. He was backdoor trying to deal with it. Yeah, sure he was.
You asked me a specific question about how he was dealing with it as far as amassing the resources, and then you bring up something out of left field. I was talking about the resource aspect of it.
Yeah, but that was a
you're
resource.
talking about
That's what I'm saying. That is a resource.
What are you talking about?
I think we just at an impasse. I mean, we agree to disagree. You think that the president lied to the American people for good reason, and I don't think there's ever a good reason to lie to American people. I don't give a damn what it is. If a comet is on its way, if a comet, an apocalypse comet is coming toward the United States, then tell us that. Period.
You don't see that in any movie. You don't see it anywhere. I've never seen that happen.
I saw it in that movie with Ellie, the movie in which Morgan Freeman played the president. They came out and told everybody what was happening, what they was going to do. That's what leadership does. You don't lie to people about what's going on. You tell them the truth. You energize the troops, and you get ready.
Now, it's not about the comment. It's not about the comment. Trump had already seen the comment. So then he asked the cop to it at that point. I think that's how the movie played out. He didn't tell them before they knew. People found out. And then it was like, I got to tell the American people.
Okay.
We'll have to revisit that movie. But we're in an impasse. I like your show. We can agree to disagree. But
right.
I just felt like you can't. I don't think coming out and telling everybody everything that's about to happen would have been a good strategy. Because people just overreact to stuff in general. But we'll talk about that plastic pan another day, man. But that's trash ass policy.
What?
So to speak.
Okay.
I think it's trash policy, bro.
All right. Well, let's pick it up on Monday then.
All right, okay.
Yeah, appreciate it. That's Black Russia. We completely disagree on that one. I don't want to be lied to in none of my relationships. Give it to me straight, and then I can make my own decision. Whether I like it or don't like it. Whatever it is whatever it is. If I don't like it, I have to deal with it. If you're an American president, hey, Glenn, hold on 1 second. I'm coming straight to you, brother. If you're an American... Oh, snap. I think I hung up on... Hey, Glenn, I'm sorry, man. I think I hung up on you. Call me right back. I apologize about that, brother. I meant to hit... Okay, he called back. I meant to hit... Yeah, my bad, brother. I meant to hit mute, and I hit end the call. I don't buy that. I don't buy that. And as he said, if it's going to happen anyway, why not arm people with the truth? Isn't that the best thing you can give the public? I think so. Trump was lying to protect Trump. John Bolton said it. John Bolton, you go look up John Bolton. John Bolton is a super Republican. He's a party man, a neoconservative that was in the Baby Bush administration, former ambassador to the UN. He ain't no liberal. He's no fan of Joe Biden. Even he said, I can't vote for Trump. That's what he said. Let me play this for you.
Coronavirus in Washington State, the Wuhan strain of this. If you remember SARS, that affected GDP, travel-related effects. Have you been briefed by the CDC? Are the words about a pandemic?
This is in January 22.
And we have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine. Even now, we're working very strongly with China on the coronavirus. That's
January 30th,
that a lot of
2020.
people are talking about. Hopefully, it won't be as bad as some people think it could be. But we're working very closely with them and with a lot of other people in a lot of other countries, and we think we have it very well under control. The virus. They're working hard.
February 10th,
Looks like by April,
2020.
in theory, when it gets a little warmer, it miraculously goes away. I hope that's true. But we're doing great in our country. China, I spoke with President Xi, and they're working very, very hard. And I think it's going to all work out fine. Rough stuff, I tell you, rough stuff. But I think it's going to work out good. What do you have, a very small number of people in the country right now?
February 14th.
It's like around 12. Many of them are getting better. Some are fully recovered already. So we're in very good shape. I think it's going to work out fine. I think when we get into
February
April,
19th.
warmer weather, that has a very negative effect on that and that type of a virus. So let's see what happens, but I think it's going to work out fine. Now the Democrats are politicizing the
February 28th.
coronavirus. You know that, right? Coronavirus. They're politicizing it. We did one of the great jobs, you say, how's President Trump doing? They go, oh, not good, not good. They have no clue. They don't have any clue. And this is their new hoax. But, you know, we did something that's been pretty amazing. We're 15.
This is their new hoax. Let's not forget that now. Trump was running around and Republicans was running around talking about it was the corona hoax. Like it was all politically motivated. The Democrats just made this up to try to make Trump look bad. And yet some people want to give him credit for that? What? Call it what it is. The man was lying because it benefited him. He tried to politicize it. Oh, well, it's just a hoax here, folks. Nothing to see here, nothing to see here. It's a hoax.
15 people in this massive country. And because of the fact that we went early, we could have had a lot more than that. We're doing great.
It's February 28th.
Our country is doing so great.
Are you also considering a national emergency declaration that would allow states and local governments to have to be met?
I don't think you'll need that because I really think we're in extremely good shape.
March 2nd. March 2nd. He was in the White House. He was asked, are you considering declaring a national emergency? No, I don't think we need that, he says. We don't need nothing to see here, nothing here.
Prepared for anything, and we could always do that at a later date if we need it, but I don't think we need that. We're prepared, and we're doing a great job with it.
March 10th.
It will go away, just stay calm. It's going to go away. It's going to go away. I was watching Scott.
March 12th.
I was watching Scott this morning, and he was saying within 2 months. But, in the meantime, we want to lose as few people as possible. So important. And what is the number as of this morning? Is it 32? You can tell me. Is it 32 deaths? Steve, around that. I mean, think of it. The United States, because of what I did and what the administration did with China, we have 32 deaths at this point. Other countries that are smaller countries have many, many deaths. 32 is a lot. 32 is too many. But when you look at the kind of numbers that you're seeing coming out of other countries, it's pretty amazing when you think of it. It's a very contagious virus. It's incredible.
March 15th.
But it's something that we have tremendous control over.
You said that you were not responsible for the testing shortfall. Very simple question. Does the buck stop with you? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your response to this crisis?
March 16th.
I'd rate it at 10. I think we've done a great job. And it started with the fact that we kept a very highly infected country, despite all of even the professionals saying, no, it's too early to do that. We were very, very early with respect to China. And we would have a whole different situation in this country if we didn't do that. I would rate it I would rate ourselves and the professionals. I think the professionals have done a fantastic job. And I've always known this is a real, this is a pandemic. I felt it was a pandemic long before it was called a pandemic. All you had to do is look at other countries. I think now it's in almost 100.
This man, this is who you support? Okay. To each their own. You do you, homie. You do you. Nuts. And that's just, I ain't even finished all the video. So you telling me that the only other way, this is what Black Russia just said, the only other way he could have responded would have been to say, you're going to die tomorrow. Don't let Trump get away with that. Don't let Trump get away with that. Well, I didn't want to scare people. You could have just took it more seriously. You could have just took it more seriously from the beginning. Instead of acting like I got everything under control. You didn't have it under control. Period. But let's go to the phones. We got Glenn from Mesa on the line. Hey, good morning, Glenn. Welcome.
What's going on, Nate? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you as well. And thank you for holding and calling back. What's
no
on your mind?
problem. Actually, I'm glad that I did hold because you were able to play those clips. And I was actually writing down a couple of things, and I appreciate you giving me the date. And what's crazy, Nate, is that everything that you just played completely contradicts everything that Black Russia called in and talked about. And what I found most amusing is that you talked about the reporter asking on March the 2nd about declaring this a public emergency. And he didn't say anything. I mean, he said he didn't want to do that. And then Black Russia asked you, well, what's the difference? What's the difference in when he said it and why he said it? Maybe he would have saved Herman Cain's life, Nate. Think about it. Those comments of him playing it down was before the Tulsa rally. Remember when Herman came, all the black folks, they got them dancing and stuff, and they were maskless. You know, they got the memes and everything.
Good
I
point.
mean, we got it all on tape. Think about it. Maybe he could have saved Herman Cain's life. The guy that danced, you know, religiously for him. And he didn't save him, Black Russia. So what makes you think he's going to save you, you little wolf Yorkies, drunk brother black ass? I mean, really, think about it. I told you, Nate, yesterday after I listened to what Bob Woodward taped. Not only, I mean, I'm already done with them. And, you know, I'm out here like Dragon Slayer. I'm here to take them all out. You know, Zakari, burn them all to hell. Because I recognized the BS a long time ago. But Nate, when he said, and again, I'm amazed that he was actually able to get out strenuous flu. But when he said that not only did he know it was deadly, but it was also deadly for kids. Nate, they take a special kind of, I don't know, orange man, and when you don't even give a damn about the kids. And then you got black people calling here making excuses for them. We got it all on tape, y'all. You know, before, I told you this before, Nate, I'm fascinated by the energy that's out there, our history, you know, the whole black and white, the civil rights era, because, you know, people put this in perspective. Our parents drank from black and white water fountains. You know, they talk about how this stuff happened, you know, 200 something. No, think about it. Our parents, my parents. You know, my parents, my father's passed away, but my mom's 82 years old. When she was 13, my son's age, Miles' age right now, she drank from separate water fountains. So you just imagine what your grandparents had to go through. You talk about Chairman's mom. Think about it, Nate. It puts it in perspective. And then you got this fool drunk calling in here talking about, well, basically his reasoning for the reason why we don't have black billionaires who have enough money sufficiently to buy a sports franchise is because they, follow Democratic policies, bro? Really? Liberal policies? It couldn't have been racism? You know, the inability to acquire the type of wealth that white people were acquiring back then. I don't know, just like, it was like a starter fee. You know, it was like seed money. Well, guess what? They didn't give us any seeds. They just gave us the dirt. The great thing about black people, Drop, is that we still build something out of that dirt. You don't recognize and you need to respect it. And when you come on here, caping for this fool, who undoubtedly is the worst president in our lifetime. I told you. No longer can they play the affirmative action card. You know, you've heard it, Nate. You've been in radio a long time. Unqualified people, you know, getting jobs. Donald Trump is the most unqualified white man ever. Ever. Probably overqualified to him and his wife. The most agreed first couple in presidential history. You called them everything but the child of God. In the line of fire, hey, they said, yes, give it to me straight, Dad.
They did. Obama could do no right.
Do no right. Then unfortunately, in the native, even with some black folks, we're not going there. That's not the enemy. The enemy is in the White House. The enemy is up in Shanksville because he's too scared to go to New York and observe 9/11. He can't even go home, Nate. They gotta block off everything around Trump Tower. That's what we're doing now. So, hey man, I'm off today, Nate. I got a great cup of coffee. Got my glaucoma medicine. I'm ready. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the show. But I just had to get that off my chest. Like I said, man, it takes a special type of Negro right now in this day and age to case for Donald Trump, to call in and make it an excuse for the officers in the Breonna Taylor case. It really does. And what I love about it, Nate, is that, like I said, I'm fascinated by the past, our parents' era, our grandparents' era. There were black folks back then, and we don't need a Civil Rights Act. You know, this is a great country. They'll eventually come around. That was the argument. We don't need the federal government getting involved in black folks' ability to vote. Let the states handle it. Because what? We all know that Georgia and Alabama would have been in accordance with New York? They was making that argument made back then. But now we got them on tape. Like I said, it's like that Ice Cube verse, got the little hooker on tape. I appreciate you taking my call, Nate. You have a good one, bro.
You too, man. Take it easy. Damn. Oh, man. Let's go straight back into it. Out of the frying pan, back into the fire. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Nathan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Welcome. Fame.
Thank you. Yes, sir. That is who I am. I got a last call. Listen. First of all, Drop was cooking. He was cooking. You need to give him his props. You're so adverse to what he says that you wasn't listening. You want to immediately reject him. You know what he says, and you know what he was saying was, you know, there are no black NFL owners because there's certain requirements that they have that a black person hasn't attained that wealth yet. If I'm not mistaken, you got to be worth every NFL team is worth over $1 billion. All 32 of them are valued at over $1 billion. And I think the rule is to own a team, you've got to be worth $2.5 billion liquid. Now, a couple of them, you know, several of them can get together and pool their money, but who's to say the people with enough money to pool wants to be a part of a team like that or wants to work with you? You know what I'm saying? The person who's going to be the face of the franchise. So that's all he was saying, man. And you see these comments, the last fella, everybody just you pick apart the weakest part of what he said that doesn't even equate and try to run with it. That's not what he was saying. Same thing with Russia. You know, Black Russia, the president, he ain't supposed to instill fear in America. When we got bombed with airplanes, 20 years ago today? 19 years ago today? You know, what was Bush supposed to do? Run up out of that classroom with those kids and cause hysteria? No. Something you got to take with a little dignity and just say, all right, hold the emotion in and you know, come up with something. You know, Trump's a complete jerk off. Yes. He handled this wrong, but he wasn't supposed to instill fear in America. Two things can be true at the same time. And if you went on TV talking about don't go outside, this thing's airborne, you'll die. Just imagine what we'd be like now. You understand what I'm saying, B?
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of it.
You might not like it, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You don't agree.
I disagree with like 80% of it. But I want you to finish your flow before I do what I do.
Well, no, I want you to do what you do now since it's a conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's not a debate. That's a debate stage.
Okay, so let's take it from the top. You started with the NFL owners. And who sets the rules that govern the NFL?
I'm assuming the league.
The owners.
The board of governors.
The board of governors, which consists of the other owners, right? So for me, I'm less concerned. See, I never cared about Colin Kaepernick getting another job in the NFL. We beyond that. So what? It means nothing. If he goes back to work for a non-black owner that's not conscious and sensitive to the movement. For me, I don't care about them doing the Negro national anthem or putting statements in the end zone. For me, they need conscious black majority owners because it's the league of governors that makes all the rules. So if you want to prevent a player like Colin Kaepernick from being blackballed, what you need are conscious black owners who can make the decision to give him a shot on the team. And I'm not sure what all the rules are, but they change those rules every summer. So that if the NFL wants to show they care and parity, then we need at least one majority-owned team. I think there should be at least one majority-owned team that's owned by the former, current, and future players. That's good enough. And then they can sit at the table at the board of NFL governors and make the decisions that need to be made. So that's point number one. And then don't you agree with this statement, true or false? That you're only as strong as your weakest link. Do you agree with that statement?
I know it's a famous cliche. I don't know. You know, I've been on group projects where, where I did absolutely nothing, and I've been on group projects where I did every damn thing, and they both were successes.
Yeah, but the group project where you had somebody doing absolutely nothing would have been even better if you was actually doing something. So you're saying you don't agree with that statement, or you do agree with that statement?
I'm saying I don't know. I'm indifferent to it. I just know it's a very popular cliche.
Well, I agree with that statement. I think you're only as strong as your weakest link. And since I agree with that, that means rhetorically, when you're talking in public or making an argument, You're only as strong as your weakness argument. Same thing for drop. So if we call in and say seven things and 2 or 3 of them is weak, you can't be mad that people focus on that. Sharpen your knives.
No,
Sharpen
no,
your
it's not.
knives and build a bigger argument, period.
If you focus on that to try to prove a point, that shows that your argument is weak.
No.
You know,
Sharpen your knives and build a better argument.
Listen, guy, that last caller, you know, back when I was a kid, you know, 20 years old, I thought he was a phenomenal caller. I mean, he pulling up on talk show host. Then come to find out the talk show host is only 5'4". You know, he was the George Jefferson of callers. You know, being very disrespectful to white man. But as an adult, when I break down his rhetoric, I realize that's the most banal shit I ever heard.
Let me go to your second part. You talked about how you agree with Black Russia, and I think you brought up 9/11, and you said going back 19, 20 years ago, what if then President Bush had ran out? And it wouldn't have caused no fear. If there was...
Why is the president getting up and running out on a class of third graders? Can you imagine that aesthetic? That a visual? Come on, man.
We've seen that visual before. It just happened with Trump. Trump was in the middle of a press conference, and he got word that there was some type of person with a weapon on the White House lawn, and he ran out. It didn't cause no national emergency. If you go back 20 years ago on 9/11, if you go back 20 years ago on 9/11, if then President Bush would have got a notice, or the Secret Service would have got a notice that somebody had a gun near where he was, his ass would have ran out. And they would have took him to a safe place, because that's what they do. It's called protocol. So no, it wouldn't have caused no national emergency 20 years ago if the president would have ran out. And it wouldn't have caused it would not have caused a national, stampede if Donald Trump would have told the truth from day one about COVID-19. Y'all making excuses for bad behavior, period.
Guy, please. Using Trump is another bad example. He's the exception to the rule.
What you mean? All presidents do that. The same thing happened with Obama. The same thing happened with Clinton.
Please.
They all do that.
Allow me to finish. Using Trump in any example is a bad example because he's the exception to the rule. You know, as well as I do, you can't go through life trying to be the exception to the rule. He's not presidential. Not even a politician.
We're not talking about being presidential. We're talking about protocol. We're talking about the actions of the leader of the country.
I'm talking about him running. Causing hysteria.
Bush would have done the same thing.
Bush understood. Don't do that.
Obama did the same thing. What are you talking about? If the Secret Service gets word that there's an imminent threat to the president, he's gonna stop mid-sentence and run. It happened to Trump during the campaign. Somebody tried to get up on the stage. He was ducking and dodging. Y'all need to stop with these weak arguments trying to make Trump look better.
Sir,
he lied. Period.
I'm not trying to make Trump look better.
He lied and people died. Period. Leave it right there.
Nathan, please. I'm not a Trump supporter.
I didn't say you were.
I hate that I even have to. No, you just said y'all need to quit making these arguments trying to make him look better.
You are.
Dude. I'm just saying. We are such peons. Just continue with your life. He can't do nothing to you.
Okay.
You don't matter to him.
I'm not sure how that's relevant.
I'm not sure how what you were talking about was relevant.
Oh, yes,
I'm just saying.
It was all relevant. Straight to the point. Hit the target on every single one.
When did Obama get his sprint on? I want to see this video. I didn't see it. I don't remember that. Do you remember when this happened?
Are you asking me the exact day? No. But are you refuting what I'm saying?
I'm asking you, is there a video of it? I'm asking you, is there a video of it? I want to
Google it and see if you can find a video. But are you telling me that I'm wrong in what I'm saying about if there's a threat to the president that he's going to run out? Because I'm going back to your argument that you made about 9/11 and how Bush had to sit there and act like nothing was happening in the World Trade Center. And what I'm telling you is that if he would have gotten a call saying that there was a person near where he was with a weapon, he would have ran out. Period. That's the only reason why he didn't. And you're trying to bring that example up as if he was trying to He was trying to project
No,
strength, and he
no.
can't project weakness and
equivocation.
run out. He would have ran
That's
out
false.
if
That's false.
there was
I
a
don't care
threat
what
to
he would
where
have
he
done.
was. Period.
I don't care what he would have done.
But that's the whole
Somebody
point.
was near him. The whole thing is not somebody near you. We're talking about a virus that was airborne.
You brought up
and
Bush, not
plain.
me. I was just refuting the point
Of
that you brought
course.
up.
Because you're trying to stretch it out into something else. Nobody's talking about a danger in your proximity, right in front of you, or near you 100 yards away.
But we
we're not
are.
talking about that type of situation.
But we are.
We're not.
Yes,
That's
we
what you
are.
were trying to
Because
talk about. You're trying to
COVID-19.
spin the argument because you don't want to accept the fact that you mistreated Trump and you didn't understand what he was saying.
Can I tell you where you're wrong? You're
I
wrong.
love to hear
We
this.
are talking about a danger in close proximity to the American people. It was called COVID-19. That was the point. That was the whole point.
No.
If COVID-19 wasn't a danger, then why did all these states shut down? Because it was a
Who
danger.
said it wasn't a danger?
You just said
It
it.
wasn't a danger.
You just
No, I
said
said-
you just said that we
No,
weren't
no.
talking about a danger that was in close
gosh.
proximity. I'm just connecting the dots to the points that you made up. That's the reason why Trump was wrong to play it down and lie about it. Because while it might not have been a danger to him as the president, it was a danger for all of us. I'm talking about COVID-19. That's why he should have told the truth and been real. Period.
Can I finish?
Yes, you can.
You're talking about somebody holding a projectile or a knife trying to attack the president. I'm telling you that what Gregson said, Black Russia said, was on point because the president has to show some type of strength, even in that type of situation.
And I'm telling you that in both
And you're telling
scenarios,
me that no matter what
Braxton
Trump
was
does,
wrong
he's wrong.
and you're wrong. Period.
You're
There's
telling
no way
me-
around it. I'm surprised
telling
you're
me
even
he-
arguing against this.
Most black people are the type of people that will tell you that if Trump says, hey, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, you say you a gosh darn lie. It rises in the south and lowers in the sun in the north. You know,
And
you hate the guy no matter what.
it ain't about hate. It's about holding elected officials to their responsibilities. Period.
There's nothing that he can do right to appease you people.
That's not the point. The point is the man lied and people died. Period.
Yeah,
That's
he
the point.
did. And you cannot hide from that. Nobody's trying to. You have
That's
to
the
accept
end of the
that.
story.
I
There's
accept
nothing
the
else to
good-
talk about. That's
I
it.
accept the good with the bad with every president. But
That's
damn,
it. That's the end of the story, fam. There's nothing more to add to it. All these excuses,
No,
and he
yes,
couldn't.
there is.
He
Every
had to
president
project
lied.
strength. There's all excuses. The man
Every
lied. People
president
died.
lies. Every president lies.
Oh, every
Obama
president
lied.
lies,
Every
do they?
president lies.
Yeah, I know they do.
Every president.
But we
You
ain't
act like
talking about
that's
every
something
president.
new.
We talking about this president. He's the man in
You
charge
acting
right
like he's
now,
doing
and that's
you
how it
acting
goes.
like you're acting like he's any more racist than the 44 other people in front of him, including the colored one.
That sounds good, and that might play in some areas. It ain't playing here on this show today.
And it's
with
going
me.
to play on this goddamn show.
It
this
ain't
morning
playing with me
because I
today
said
right
it,
now.
and
That
you
sounds like
accept it.
dumb-ish to me. It sounds like just something you think
No,
sounds good to say.
Let's insult the caller now. That's
I'm
all.
not
Let's
insulting
go.
you, but I'm not going to do what Trump do and sugarcoat. I'm going to give it to you straight. You want me to lie to you? That's how I feel about it, period.
I just think you're wrong. But
We can
let's
agree to
move on.
disagree.
As the band caller likes to say, brother, let's move on.
Let's move on. He banned himself, by the way.
I totally understand why. Yeah. I've been down since day one. I followed every.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, listen. I thought that was an ugly display by the people of Kansas City, Missouri last night, booing that show of unity. From what I understand, the Bengals had discussed staying inside, and now they decided as a team to come out on Sunday. To which I don't really care either way. Just play the damn game. Okay, I'm there to watch you play a game. I'm watching on TV to watch you play a game. If I want to watch you protest and whatnot, I'll go on Twitter. I'll go on Facebook. I'm there for the running, blocking, and tackling. Nothing else, nothing more. Everybody likes to bring up Jim Brown. Truth be told, there's a story that his team kind of forced him to make that decision. It was already easy for him. He was still healthy. The movies paid more. But they kind of forced him and told him, like, dude, if you want to go be a civil rights leader, do that. We're here to play football, black teammates included.
This was in the 60s, though, right?
Yeah, this was in the 60s. Oh, well, but it goes to what I was telling you 2 months ago. You know, when your friend, when your listeners who don't know what the hell they're talking about, we're talking about Colin Kaepernick. You know, nobody likes to work with an activist. I'm here for the work. That's all. So you want to go through a temper tantrum because you got benched? You know, the name Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin never came out of that boy's mouth before he got benched. He was a surfer, wearing his hat backwards. He gets benched. Oh, they doing niggas wrong out here. All right, Colin, we got you. You know, we see you. This ain't real. You're just throwing a temper tantrum because you're having an identity crisis. Now you realize all those years, you know, you've been running away from it. No, you a nigga too. Still nigga.
Can you watch the language for the people, please? The children and the people. It might be at work.
It's after 9:30, man.
I'm just saying, it's people at work, too. I'm just saying, it's people at work, man.
Oh.
It's my show. It's my rules.
You're right. You're right. Okay.
People at work.
Let me say this.
At home.
I heard you talking about the circus. You talking about you saw a tiger on a chair?
Yeah, and I wasn't impressed.
I'm not either. You understand me? Because lions, tigers, and bears are these big-ass, powerful beasts, much more powerful than the wolf, but you ain't never seen a wolf perform for a circus.
Until this morning.
That and you have a good weekend.
Until this morning.
Oh!
We had back-to-back performances from the alt middle this morning. Until this morning. Totally wrong. I mean, you brought the example up, man. Oh, he got to sit there and show strength on 911. That's because there wasn't an imminent threat to where Bush was. Believe me, if he would have got a call, they would have evacuated the school building and Bush would have been out there first. Presidents do it all the time. So missing with all this, the president's got to show strength. Get out of here. Trump just ran out of a press conference like 2 months ago because somebody was on the White House lawn with a weapon. At least that was reported. And he left abruptly and went to a safe location. So he did that. But when it came to COVID-19, I want to lie and tell you some half-truths because I think it's best for you. It's never best for you. Give it to me straight. I'll make my decision. You know what I'm saying? COVID-19 was an imminent threat to every man, woman, and child. How do we know? Because all these states, most of the states shut down. That's why. I mean, here in Ohio, we had a stay-at-home protection order for about 2 weeks, restricting our movements because it was an imminent threat to every man, woman, and child. And meanwhile, the president was running around telling lies and half-truths. I'm glad to see that the Bengals are going to be out there. You know why? Let me tell you why. Because we're going to get a chance to see the reaction of Cincinnati fans. Right? I hope the game is in Cincinnati. I hope it is. I want to see what how Cincinnati fans react to it. That's going to give us something. And all this shut up and dribble and shut up and pass the ball, you ain't saying that when they do the national anthem. You ain't saying, I don't want to see the national anthem. I just want to see you run and kick and catch. Why is it so important to do the national anthem in a football game? Why? So for whatever reason that's important, then it's important to say that Black Lives Matter and make political statements because of what time it is. And again, I don't care if Colin Kaepernick is in the Madden NFL. It's an inferior game anyway. Anybody who knows anything about games don't even play that game because the game is inferior. The best football game was made 20 years ago and cost $20. It was called NFL 2K. Terrell Owens is on the cover. That game that was made 20 years ago had innovations that the Madden franchise still don't have 20 years later. You're buying the Madden game is the equivalent of the McDonald's of video games. It's trash. Any video gamer will tell you that. You know what I'm saying? Any video gamer that knows anything, don't even F with that nobody buys it. You know what I'm saying? I stopped buying that 15 years ago because they weren't innovating and it was getting $60 a game. Psh, please, later for that. I don't care if he's in the NFL game. The Madden game. If the NFL wants to show how much their Black Lives Matter, then they need the board of governors need to carve out a space. And again, there's a couple ways of doing it. I'm in favor of past, current and future players owning their own NFL franchise. You telling me there ain't enough big money, rich, maybe they're athletes, entertainers that can't pull their money and be majority owners in the NFL franchise? I don't believe it. I don't believe it. That's what time it is. That's equity. And then that's how you make sure that what happened to Colin Kaepernick never happens again. Because when these other majority non-black owned teams, majority teams with general managers that are not black, when they decide that they want to blackball Colin Kaepernick or somebody else because they're making a political statement, maybe there might be one or two teams that say, hey, come on home. Like imagine if Puffy owned the team. Remember what Puffy just said to Nick Cannon? He said, come on home. That's what time it is. Give a damn about no statements in the end zone and playing the Negro anthem. That's BS. Don't fall for none of that. If it ain't equities and tangibles from the NFL, it don't mean anything. And that's what equity and tangible is. Get us a majority-owned, black-owned, conscious black-owned team, or a team that's owned by the past, the current, and the future NFL players. I mean, either one of those will do. But that's my time, folks. It's 10:03 a.m. this morning. I got to make a move. We'll catch up in a little bit on Monday. I really appreciate you. All right, the Is It Just Me podcast coming up today at a different time, 12 noon. Not 12:30, but 12 noon today. You can check it out on Facebook and check out Donnie B and what she's talking about today. I really appreciate you. Don't forget the Dope Chicks Collective coming up on Sunday and more podcasts and live stream shows to follow. All right, make sure you stay tuned to this channel as we build and amplify black voices, independent black voices here in the Cincinnati market and beyond. I really appreciate you. Please like and share today's show. All right, this show has legs. Don't think you got to stop because the show is over with. It'll live on Facebook and YouTube. If you're a YouTube person, please go to YouTube and follow the Nathan Ivey channel. Okay, please enable the bell so you can get notifications whenever we go live. I really appreciate you. Shout out to the choppers. And for folks who are like, where's the Spreaker? It will be back next week. Okay, I got a new board coming, a new mixer, and I'll be able to get back and stream the audio straight to Spreaker live and not just put it up afterward. All right, so thank you. I know it's been an inconvenience. I know it has been. Many people enjoy that stream. I have not abandoned it. We'll be back up next week. All right, have an excellent rest of your day. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here. I'll say it again. The way that we should handle the Cincy Trump parade tomorrow is enjoy your Saturday. That's going to be 84 miles of dumb-ish. Let them do that. Let them have their little thing and they pick up trucks and they flags. Don't even react to it, man. I think it's supposed to go on from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. That's prime real estate on a Saturday. Don't give it up for these fools. You ain't got to do nothing. And I 100% support the Cincinnati City Council passing a ban on plastic bags. And if you want to know why, look at this. This is why. This is why. A floating island of trash in the Caribbean Ocean. That's why. This is why. Because God's little selfish creatures sometimes have to be forced to do the right thing. Okay? It is not that difficult to get a reusable plastic bag for the environment. This earth, this environment gives us so much. That's the least that we can do. Okay, I'm gonna leave it like that. Viva la Trop, the choppers. Shout out to Team and I. Shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you. Another month of your support. You can directly connect with me, NathanIvey.com, and connect to all the various things I'm doing. I really appreciate you. The Nathan Ivey Show, of course. If you haven't already done so, please like and follow on Facebook as well. And check out the Sin Digital Media page and check out the podcast. All right. Have an excellent weekend. I'm out, and we'll talk real